This episode brought to you by, and I shit you not, this first one is real, Sex Caliber Bones a Lot. James, Sunsy, Steph, Holly, Natasha, Laura, Veronica, Boeasy, Jeremy, Allie, Nathan, Jennifer with a PH, Mr. Rage Bomb, Libby, Wes, Dreskel, Aaron, Kristen, Tia, Lauren, Jonathan, Kate, Alex, Isaac, and Karoon. And this week, because it's that special time of the month, we also get to shout out our You Can Get It level sponsors, and they are Caitlin, Madeline, Alyssa, Vixen, Dharma, Grace, Stephanie, Amanda the Playwright, Leo, Alex, Alexandra, Brooklyn, Tori, Eli, Bryce, Sean, Logan, Dominic, Jamie, Alex, Shayna, Allie, Dr. Voorhees, MD, Jennifer, Megan, Amelia, Maxwell, Liza, Martha, Jamie, AJ, Spider-Gwen, Lisa, Rock Donkey, Irene, Naomi, Bex, Mallory, Amy, Laura, Cameron, Kaylee, Casey, Daisy, Jackie, Tyson, Elisa, Mushroom Snail Fox, and Jennifer. And all the patrons, including Sex Caliber Bones a Lot, want
so
you to
good.
know it's the best. They all want you to know that you're loved, you're listened to, and you're a valuable member of this awesome horror virgin community. And if you want to hang out with us, do so in the Facebook group where we hang out daily.
On vacation, I noticed my phone, the plug is not charging when I plug it in. I said, this dumbass old phone is broken.
I like that you dropped it as you were starting to tell us the story. Like, how could it not work? I don't know.
I was like, okay, I've got a conference I'm going to present, and then I have a thing at 6. I have like a few hours in between where I can go to the Apple store and like get this fixed or whatever.
Oh, I saw this online.
I didn't see it though. Hang on.
Don't look at it. Don't spoil it. And then they said, run the diagnostics. And I said, okay, I'm running the diagnostics. And then she goes, you got a bunch of lint in your charging port.
Thank you for tuning into Horror Virgin. I'm Paige.
I'm Mikey.
And I'm your horror virgin, Todd, which means I don't like watching scary movies, but you guys make me watch them. And this week, the listeners made us revisit The Mist.
They missed.
Now, I say revisit because technically we have done an episode on this, but it was like a long time ago. Like, Paige and Mikey both sounded different.
Yeah, we both sounded different.
So we thought when it won the listener request, we may as well revisit it anyway. It's on theme for the month. So here we are with the revisited The Mist episode. So was this the first time either of you had seen it, Mikey or Paige?
It was my first time.
Was it?
Yes.
Okay, I'm excited. Mikey, I'm sure you've seen this.
I saw it opening night in theaters.
What?
You paid money? Well, I guess I paid for... No, Netflix.
Thank you, Netflix. Same. Mikey, so walk me through that. Was it a date? Like, what was going on in your life at the time?
Oh, no. It was like my friends in college. We like going to horror movies. So, like, we all had a big friend group. It was guys and girls. You would call it a date.
I feel like that joke was premeditated and unprovoked. What is happening?
I'm 40 chess. I see where you're coming from me, and I've already got the trap set.
Well, it's not hard to see him coming because he's got a group of 4 other guys with him. But, you know.
I roll deep on my dates. Sorry.
It just means it's extra hard to get to first base because you got to defend.
But ladies, don't you want to go out with some dudes who need to fight for your attention?
What kind of fight?
That's just reality shows. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Well, welcome to Love Island, Nashville.
Yeah. The Bachelor is exactly what you're talking about.
Love Island landlocked.
At some point, there will be a Love Island, like, in a landlocked city. I'm sure of it. The Venn diagram of people who watch those shows and know what is an island or not, never touch.
Well, that's like that one girl on Too Hot to Handle who was just like, what does her tattoo say? I don't know. And then she's like, Australia, where is that? I was just like, girl, no.
Alaska's a country. What are we talking about?
That. We're talking about exactly that. But also,
Exactly that.
I would consider myself in that category. Like, I should not be on those shows either.
Where you're like, archipelago, fuck yourself.
Archipelago, I don't even like music. I definitely want the instruments.
What? Hang on. I have a few follow-up questions to your tag joke there. What musical instrument do you think you were making a pun of in that joke?
Acapella.
Oh, okay.
Archipelago, acapella.
God damn you, Mikey.
You've fallen into the classic trap
God
twice
damn you
again.
and your 4D chess.
The first is never get involved in a land war in Asia, but only slightly less well known as this.
Well, you can arpellago fuck yourself. Let's move into the movie.
First thought. So, Mikey, you enjoyed it?
At the time,
Okay.
I did like it. Mainly because at the time, there's not a ton of endings that go that bleak in wide range releases.
Holy shit, this movie's a downer,
There's a
man.
reason.
Yeah.
This ending
And-
sucks.
I like the director, Frank
Darabont. Once I saw that that's who directed this, I was like, everything makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then you could tell he went on to do Walking Dead because like he steals half the cast to go do it
Yeah,
with him.
he
from
does.
this-
Yes.
I was like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. But as far as like a horror sci-fi, I thought it was very serviceable. And then the ending, I was just like, wow, that was fantastic. I loved the ending when I saw it in theaters because everyone, well, me and one other guy liked it. One of my best friends from college liked it. Everyone else hated it, walked out pissed, cussing up and down. And I was just like, somebody went for it.
Yeah, man. They really went for it.
My favorite part is after the ending, well, you don't have to talk about it, but the truck that drives by with the people, it's the first lady who goes out in the mist to go for her kids. Her and her kids survive.
Yeah.
I thought that was so clever.
Yeah.
And then now I watched it. I haven't watched it much because like it is kind of a Debbie Downer.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I'm
This
saying?
is the second time I've ever watched this movie. Both times I had to watch it for the podcast because the first time I hadn't seen it and it is the premise of the show. And it's just such a downer. I would never really want to watch it again.
Watching today, I still liked the characters or whatever. I think it was an interesting group to go through an apocalypse, and the concept is good.
Yeah.
But the CGI has aged quite
so poorly. Yeah.
where
Ugh.
it looks like I'm playing Resident Evil 2 on my TV with this game. And like people were posting in the Facebook group, he's going to hate the spider stuff. And it's like, it doesn't bother me when it looks like a hand-drawn cartoon killing people on the screen.
Yeah, well, that's like in Jumanji, where it's clearly someone moving of like dragging a spider on a thing. Yeah,
and those spiders have like human faces by their mouth that
and
looks
human teeth.
They just look like kind of like Bart Simpson in the face, and
It
it
looks
was
like Nightmare Before Christmas characters on
Yeah.
some level.
Yes.
Which is not to say it's not a little creepy, but it's like
Yeah.
their bodies are like hyper realistic creepy and then their faces are cartoon creepy.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
and I do like that, like it's a whole ecosystem that leaks into the planet where it's like they're not evil. It's just like this person. It's like a food chain. And it's like you know,
Yeah.
there's just creatures.
It's the upside down going into the, right side up.
Yeah, it's Cosmic Horror 101, dimensionality and the convergence of the spheres.
Yes.
yeah, I think it would have worked better what they're trying to do if it like lasted weeks instead of like hours.
They're really only in the store like what, 2.5 days, something like that?
2.5 days, basically.
Like
yeah.
I would have liked that lady's cult to like really get culty with
That's
it.
the scariest part of the movie for me. Is
Oh,
her cult.
yeah.
Okay. So, first of all, the pacing of this movie is interminable.
Yeah.
Because like roughly 85 minutes of action happens over 2 hours. There are multiple scenes where I just wrote in my notes, I'm like, why are we still just close-ups?
Yeah.
For like 5 whole minutes. Like, why are we doing this?
Yeah, like not close-ups with dialogue that move the story forward.
Nope.
No issue with those close-ups. She means
Just
like
looking at people.
yes, like people reacting to what other people are saying, but not while they're saying it. Like it's
Right.
literally nothing else except for just them on screen. There's so much of that in this movie.
Yes. I guess my thing is like, there is a way to do that and have it not feel like it's, slowly taking your life away. But it's like,
Not to 50!
not to 50.
But that's how I felt watching it because there are at least 50 of those
Yes.
like cutaways that would, if you cut them, not take away from the movie one iota.
Nope.
And save us, no joke, 6 or 7 minutes of runtime.
Love that.
Easily.
I really did like the grocery clerk's Truman Capote's journey of being like, I am
Oh,
a
yes.
bagger and now I'm a badass.
Dude,
Yes.
Ollie,
I did enjoy that.
I love this movie for that actor because
He's great in it.
I've seen him in tons of shit, and he is always like this side character who's like, he's a character actor. He's
I was
great.
happy for him to get his day. I was
Dude.
mad when he got ripped in half by that fog crab.
Yeah. I mean, Truman Capote was...
No, you're right, but it's rare that like Truman Capote type movies come out where your lead is not supposed to be handsome.
Right.
Is I guess my point. And Holly is a character actor who got a fucking leading man role in this, and unfortunately dies at the end. But like, I love it for that guy because he is so good in this.
He is
and
great.
He saves them from the cult. Like when he kills her, I wanted him to be like, "You'll thank me later," as he like runs out the door.
Well, and he does thank him, and he's like, "I had to," and he's like, "Yeah, that's why I thanked you."
No, I mean like yelling to the cult behind him.
To the people
like,
in the store.
Yeah.
So for me, the pacing is rough. The CGI is rough.
Yeah.
I hate the ending. It's not the ending to the book, by the way.
It's not. No.
The ending to the book has them like getting to a Howard Johnson and it's ambiguous. I would have been fine with that.
They'll leave a light on for you.
Yeah. I also would have been fine with there being 5 bullets in the car. Like I get why you would want to kill yourself at the end of this movie, but like, it just seems needlessly painful. Like
they play in such a way where like, I'm always, call me a Boy Scout or an optimist or whatever, but like, it
do I have to call you a Boy Scout or an optimist or whatever?
I feel dirty doing that.
Yeah.
No, you just call me Mikey, or you guys do not have to take everything I say literally. It's very annoying. Anyway, I think it does try to like, I don't know, be a metaphor for like, you shouldn't give up hope ever. But like,
then it ruins that at the end.
Well, they gave up hope, Paige. So the metaphor, they are punished.
Oh God, it's so garbled and ham-fisted.
I think Stephen King loved the ending, though.
He did.
Stephen King loves this adaptation. Yeah,
I think Frank actually asked for permission to do this ending.
He did,
and then Stephen King was like, "Yes, I love that. Do it."
Yeah, he gave us permission.
He's like, after Shawshank, you can just do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, no, for sure. But also, there's a part of me that's like, don't ever trust Stephen King with an ending. That's not his strong suit. But like, I know I'm going to piss a lot of people off by saying that, but it is known.
I think
Everyone
Mikey
knows
said that
this.
at almost every Stephen King episode. Like, I mean, I've heard Stephen King fans say that. Like,
say that he can't do it. My thing too, and I texted Todd about this earlier a little bit. For me, I wish there had been no monsters, or at least we'd never seen them. I wish we had never seen them because the unknown is so much scarier. If we had not seen a single monster until the giant tentacle sky spider at the end, I would have been thrilled because then I would have been like, what the hell is it? And that would have been way scarier for me because for movies and stories like this, where people are put in very desperate situations and make desperate choices, that's the scary part for me. The cult is scary for me because I don't believe people are basically good.
No.
I worked in retail. So I believe that people are easily persuaded and do desperate and scary things and get very, very selfish when they have the chance.
Yeah, ladies.
People in general.
Oh, right. Non-ladies.
Ladies, non-ladies, men, non-men, whatever. But like that, soup of human beings who are scared and selfish and trying to survive, that is one of the most terrifying things to me ever. And so I thought this movie was going to be really scary. And then there were all the weird close-ups that break the tension, and then the monsters looked all dumb. I was just like, oh, man.
It didn't look as bad in 2007, but it sure as shit looks real bad now.
Yeah, it does not hold up well because they didn't even try and do like practical.
There's one practical that like I didn't hear it mentioned in fun facts, but the piece they cut off is practical. You can tell from looking at it, and it looks so much better than the rest of it.
Yeah.
But that was one of those things where I'm like, man, if you can't really pull the effects off so that they look cool, not having anything is so much scarier.
But this is that time frame where like they're like CGI is the future. It's gonna be great.
It's the future, but they weren't quite good enough at it. And then the other part of it too, the other thing that is very of the time, I don't know if you remember because this is like 2007.
Yes.
During this time, from like 2002 to 2007, there was a huge push to put like chanting music in movies.
Oh man!
Like it's in Troy, it's in everything from this period.
Yeah.
And so at the end, when they're like driving past the abandoned school bus and it's like, and I was like, is this Dune? What are we watching?
Yeah, it is very Dune-ish. It's such a weird choice. Now, I will say, I think it slaps in Dune. It makes sense.
It does slap in Dune. It makes sense
but
in Dune.
It doesn't make sense when you're in upstate Maine or whatever.
It's also almost the only score in the movie. There's like no score.
That's
and
true.
then there's that.
Yeah.
And you're like, where the fuck did this come from?
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
wild.
I've been to the traditionally chanting part of Maine. I mean, it's
That's where they make the best quilts, right?
Triangles. Yeah.
yes, I will take the lobster. Aye, roll.
Chowder. Yes.
This is definitely not a cult.
That was the other thing too. Hey, we all grew up in church stuff.
Yes.
At a certain point, there's some parts that she's like screaming stuff and she's like, and the beast. And I'm like, okay, that's Revelation. And then she's like, and the scorpions come from the vials of the earth. And I was like, that's nothing. I don't know what that is at all. She's just making shit up.
Well, I like how the townspeople were like, she's basically the cat lady from The Simpsons. And they're like,
Absolutely.
Well, and like the whole town initially is like, oh, she's crazy. We all know her. She's the crazy lady in town. And then by the end of the movie, like half of the town that's in the grocery store are like a part of her cult.
But that's what I mean. Desperate people clinging for an answer. Like, that's what's scary. And that's how cults work, is they
I
catch
know.
people
Yeah.
in moments of emotional weakness. It doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter anything. They can catch you in a moment of emotional weakness where you're like, anything to have an answer, anything to have the security of an answer and to not live in ambiguity. And that's where it gets fucking dangerous, because then they start killing people.
would you two have stayed in the grocery store?
You mean survived this movie?
No, I mean
Well-
like in the beginning. I probably would have stayed for like a day and then got kind of like, okay, they're animals. And then this cult is out here. I need to relocate.
I definitely would have needed to get away from the cult. And the other thing too is like, until Ollie shoots her, I would not have any guarantee that the cult would not kill me. Like, that cult is as dangerous as the outside at that point.
I mean, maybe even more so because...
yeah, maybe even more so. Maybe you've got a chance outside.
Yeah, they were able to drive pretty far. Like,
Yeah.
I think that they could have found another shelter just as easily. I think the problem with that is you never know when you can travel through the mist.
Yeah.
Because the animals are coming not all as one big pack, you know, they're coming in swarms and waves. So, like, it might be clear for 7 hours, but you have no idea, you know?
Yeah, for me, in doomsday, end of the world movies like this, people are always the most dangerous animal.
I probably would have murdered that woman sooner.
Same. I would have killed her in her sleep, and I wouldn't have felt bad about it at all.
I'd have been like, she's dangerous. We gotta go. I
gotta
think
go.
I would go feral pretty quickly. Not like
I would go feral pretty quickly.
I mean, I just don't think I would murder people unless I needed to.
Yeah.
Like if they were hurting other people. Like
But I would see her as a danger, 100%. Yeah. Especially as she started trying to take control of the group and controlling who could leave and when. Then I'd be like, no.
I would have been like, well, if she's so faithful, let's throw her outside and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. See if you survive. Well, but that's the thing, though. It's like there's a risk for anyone to turn into that person. That's why this is so scary to me, because it's like anyone desperate enough,
Well,
like anyone outside of yourself is fair game. And that goes for me too, you know?
well, I think the 3 people that become potential cult leaders in this movie early on are, of course, Bible Lady, who was just Jim Jones crazy, right?
Yes.
But Thomas Jane's character is also trying to get control of the
Yep.
group, and so is his neighbor, the captain from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yes.
The other 2 aren't necessarily like religiously leaning yet, but it could turn that way given enough time. It's just that Bible Lady is so nutty religious.
She leads
that
with
it goes cult very fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a cult thing in general of like saying things that sound like they should be in the Bible, but they're not, and no one bothers to check.
Oh, yeah, like the scorpions. Yeah.
Like the fucking scorpions. I
Yeah.
was like, was this the book from the Scorpion King? Like, what are we reading from? I don't know if Scorpion King is horror, but I fucking love that movie. It's not good. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, what a great movie, but I am going to be like, this is fun.
Yeah, there's so many movies that we've done on this that are not good movies, but were so much fun.
This will be fun. I think Thomas Jane acts the shit out of this
Me
movie.
too.
Like him and the grocery store clerk are in a different movie where like everything, there's good production.
Him and Ollie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. They're so good. I mean, I don't really have any problems with any of the performances in this movie. It's really just the CGI that I think sort of takes me out of it a little bit.
Oh yeah. I've seen better tentacles in tentacle porn.
I thought about that as I was watching this film. I was just like, oh, sexy. I didn't realize this movie was going to get so sexy all of a sudden.
And then it rips that guy's shoulder off, and I was like, oh, I can't finish like this.
Oh, I was like, I'm doubling down.
I was like, oh, shoulders. Hello.
How much do you like shoulders, Paige? I thought
Enough
you like.
to rip them off a person's body, Todd.
Do you have
Yeah,
any
like-
idea how good they might taste?
Okay, now you're just doing your part to help global warming. And honestly, for that, Al Gore salutes you.
So on the beach, we rented chairs with an umbrella, and then there's families around us or whatever. So all of a sudden, this umbrella starts rolling through. And I know we talked about this podcast
Yes.
about impalement.
Yes.
Because people get killed by umbrellas every year.
So this dad and this girl, who is a cute girl, and her dad chases umbrella, and I catch the umbrella, and then her mom comes up. So then me and the dad and the girl are small talking, like, where are you from? Oh, blah, blah, blah. My daughter, I'm from Nashville. You blah, 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 blah. So we talked for about 3 minutes.
That's Mikey-ish, by the way, not
Yeah,
Simlish.
yeah. It's Mikey plus Sims.
We talked for 3 minutes, and I was like, oh, that girl's very attractive. Similar age, everything. So I sit down. My mom's like, me and her mom talked about y'all. Y'all should be together.
What?
3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Fuck. Really?
Her mom was so much like my mom, where like I knew that she has been in 2 bad relationships. She's not actively dating right now, that she is a 5th grade teacher at a local school, and that, and then my mom's like, you may recognize my son because he's on the news a lot for his work where he saves lives. And I was like, okay, we got to dial it all down.
God, I love that. That is amazing.
Usually umbrellas only bring destruction, but today they brought 2 families together.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard because the moms would like talk. And so we were like next to each other for the rest of the week. All the family sat next to each other, and they're like, hey, we talked that you should get her number before the end of the week and stuff. It was just, I got her number.
Did you guys like each other at all? Or was this just your mom being like,
She
here
was
you go?
very nice. Well, her mom as well. And then her and my mom and her mom like hunted shells together for like 10 minutes as well. Because she probably felt as uncomfortable as I did, which was just like, our moms are pimping us out immediately to any single person on this beach.
Yikes.
She was very cute. She was very nice, very funny. I got her number. We've texted a little bit. I don't think she's super into me. We will find out.
Mikey.
But did you find a dead crab? Over.
That was on last week's Romance in the Pod. Mikey, did you tell her about the podcast maybe?
No, I want people to like me. Talking about a podcast is like,
Oh, I know.
the biggest turnoff in the world.
Bro, I know.
Hey, you may recognize me, generic white guy from the South. I have a podcast. And so they're going to assume it's Joe Rogan-ish.
Yeah.
Which everybody has their hobbies. As long as you're not hurting anybody, that's fine. But like, I have like legitimately 20 friends who just rant about politics on their own little podcast with 12 subscribers. And that's fine. But that's what people assume when you say you have a podcast.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. This is a problem because like sometimes I don't tell people and then I'm like, I need a week off of work to go to Japan. And they were like, for fun. And I was like, no, they're paying me to be there.
Yeah.
Our
Sorry.
podcast, thanks to the listeners and, Todd's hard work at production and Paige being funny and me, just being that secret
Having a
sauce.
microphone?
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah. Being emotionally supportive.
Mikey, I knew the night we met you were perfect for me.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Yeah,
I knew
yeah.
it. Because Mikey was being the Mikey we've grown to love over the last 250 episodes or whatever.
He had dropped his phone into a punch bowl and was telling a lady her legs look nice.
Like, he was just being the Mikey he is. And I was like, I think I have fallen in love with him as a friend immediately. It was like kismet.
Well, Todd and I do have a bit of a stuffy friend group sometimes. And so, like, I'm like in one room just being like, and Todd's like, that guy's cool. And I'm
was
like,
like,
I can hear that
hell
guy
yeah.
talking.
I can hear that guy talking.
He had a different girlfriend back then. And so, like, all the girls hated her.
I forgot that you met Crystal. Yeah, okay.
So we get done carving pumpkins. They leave. And every girl at the party's like, I did not like her. I hope they break up. And I was like, what?
And then literally the next time I saw Chris, who was hosting that party, I was like, hey, I'm moving to San Diego with Crystal.
Well, the reason for not liking her was just that, like, she was being too critical of their pumpkin carving or something that was, like, sounded.
Yeah, how dare she?
She was like correcting children who were carving pumpkins.
Let me live my pumpkin artistic journey.
Journery.
There were definitely red flags before I moved. I'll just say that.
Yeah, what is she, an expert gourd carver? Get the fuck out of here.
Well, maybe we should get in this movie so we can go through it scene by scene.
Let's do it. We open on a storm, and Thomas Jane is painting movie posters, including the Thing poster in the background, which is pretty fun.
Well, it's The Thing and Gunslinger.
The Gunslinger, yeah.
Yeah, Gunslinger. I'll spoil a fun fact for you. They were all painted by the guy who actually painted those posters.
No shit, really?
Yes, all of them up there are The Thing, The Fog, Christine, and The Gunslinger from Dark Tower. And those were all painted by Drew Struzan. So he actually is also famous for painting the posters of Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Harry Potter, The Thing, Blade Runner, and others. And so all of the posters in the studio at the beginning of the film are painted by him, as was the film poster for this film.
That's awesome.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I like it.
You know who doesn't like it? The Ents. Because they punched through his window to punch out those fucking paintings.
Yes.
I laughed so hard I had forgotten a lot of this movie. That was the only time I laughed, except for at the end when I realized I had to pause it and tell Natalie what happened before she watched it because it would break her heart.
Oh.
You should see it in theaters. There were just people crying everywhere, and I was like,
I know.
this is great.
It's so sad.
But Thomas Jane's screams at the end are so funny. Like, I feel bad for saying that, but I couldn't stop laughing. Ah! Ah!
Paige, that's how men express extreme grief.
Extreme grief.
I like the one soldier who's in his hazmat suit, shrugs his shoulders while he's looking at Thomas Jane crying at the other soldier.
Yes.
Even though there's 4 dead bodies in the car, like he didn't just kill. Like, figure it out, guys. Come on now.
Yeah, they're standing there like, what should we do? He's on the ground screaming, and he's just like, oh, God, oh, my God.
There's no way he doesn't spend the rest of his life in jail for the murder of those people.
Oh, Todd, that man is going to end his own life within a matter of hours.
And also, I don't think they would arrest him.
Oh, under these circumstances, I'm sure they wouldn't. But
no.
I mean, I do think those soldiers would have been doing him a favor if they had just shot him.
Todd, I'm pretty sure he's going to take a run at one of them to make them do it.
Yeah,
and that's what happens moments later.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. It's a real bummer.
But the worst, saddest, most tragic part is that Land Cruiser is ruined.
Yeah, and that's a vintage Land Cruiser.
Yeah, it's a cherry ride, as he would say.
You never get the blood out of those seats.
So you can.
The brain's trickier, though.
Well, the brains are easy because they don't soak in.
Terrible, horrific.
We should not talk about that.
No, why did you say that with some authority in your voice?
Because I bet Mikey actually knows.
I did. Well, I have a funny story.
No, tell me more.
My friend's car got stolen. One of the people who were riding in the car got shot through the shoulder in the car.
Oh my God.
And there's blood everywhere and like a bullet hole in the car. And then I had to like support her during her argument with insurance because they're like, yeah, we'll replace the seat and do the detailing. And then she's like, no, I want a biohazard cleaning of the car since their blood was everywhere. Yeah, so there are people who do it.
Yeah, I've seen Pulp Fiction. I know who does it.
Oh, that's a old reference, sir, but it still checks out.
Can you think of another movie that features someone who cleans brain and blood out of upholstery?
Yeah, the one with Amy Adams where she's sunshine cleaning.
I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen that one.
It's a charming indie comedy about 2 women who go into the biohazard cleaning business.
I am familiar with the plot, but I've just never seen it. Yeah. Anyway, so Thomas Jane is painting in a very clingy t-shirt. He wears clingy t-shirts this whole movie, and thank you for that, Frank Darabont.
I was going to say, when you're built like Thomas Jane, your shirts just naturally cling. Like he buys them 2 sizes too big. They just like want to get closer to him.
They want to be closer.
Yeah, they cling to him.
Birds
I don't think he mourned his wife too much, is all I'm saying.
When he got to the hardware store or whatever, he was already giving her the eyes. And that's 10 minutes before the mist, baby. Paige is nodding her head, by the way. I'm not going to let her get away with not being on the record as being on my side for this.
Oh, no, I'm on your side for this. I felt like at the end when he drives by the house and he's like, I was supposed to fix the window. And his wife is all spiderwebbed.
And that lady who he met in the hardware store is like, so you're single then is what you're saying.
I think you mean black widowed.
Oh, God. Oh, no. But yes. Oh, yes. Because she's like, got the kid and she's like, oh no, I'm so sad. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I was like, oh, so they're going to be together now. But then moments later, he shot her. So,
Yeah, domestic violence is a problem, and it does sometimes transfer to the next partner, like if it's not addressed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
they were asking for it. Literally?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. If I had seen that shit, I would have been pill lady in the back of the store. That's where I'm at.
I will not give up. I would have gone forward. But that puts me in an awkward spot where like the 4 people I'm traveling with would be like, we're going to check out in this hopeless situation. I'd be like, I'm going to go forward till I'm murdered by monsters. And then like,
That's what I would do too, Mikey.
and so you can be like, can y'all get out of the car to do this?
Well, the car was out of gas, so the car wasn't going to go anymore anyway.
Right, but like I don't want to get out of the car to face the monsters and also listen to that. Like I'm the one who's deciding to stay, so they need to get out of the car.
So if you were Thomas Jane, you would have been like, would you guys mind stepping out of the car and just lining up and I'll just shoot you one by one? I just don't want to dirty up the car. I'm going to sleep when you guys are eternally sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go, and I don't want the car to get dirty.
I might have taken my chances with the monsters because I feel like most of those deaths are pretty fast.
Very fast.
I mean, the spiders not so much though, and I don't like spiders. Like, you know how I feel about.
I don't like spiders.
And the anaphylaxis looks pretty brutal. I need like a big old fog crab or one of those big tentacle sky spiders.
Yeah. Like Ollie, it's very sad that he dies, but his way is probably the fastest.
Yeah, that dude gets ripped full in half by
Yeah.
a giant fog crab.
Is like a praying mantis.
I feel like all the monsters in this movie are like if you took a bucket to a tide pool and then just like shook it up and dumped it out, that's the monster. Cosmic horror is how people typically say it.
Yeah.
They're not that. I mean, they're like, oh, it's an evil bug. Oh, it's an evil spider.
evil
oh,
bug.
it's an evil
Oh.
praying mantis. Oh, it's an octopus. Like, give me some real cosmic horror and make them all different colors besides like puke gray.
Yeah, they were all kind of like weird purple gray.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been here for like in The Ritual with the Yotun.
Yeah.
That kind of shit.
The only ones that were cosmic were like the big brontosaurus ones.
Yeah, the big ones with the tentacles. The Cthulhu moose or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, he sees the storm and he's like, this seems like a bad storm. We should go to the basement. And then the Ents destroy his studio because I guess they didn't like his paintings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stomp. They come up the next day and they're like, oh shit, that tree like fucked up our house and also the boathouse. Now we got to talk to the neighbors. It's like a whole thing. And there's tension with the neighbor. We don't fully know why. He hates the guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which he shouldn't because he's awesome in everything he's in.
He is awesome. I think it's a property line dispute. Like they sort of talk about that being an issue.
There's some sort of lawsuit thing that we hear about, but we don't know what it is.
Yeah, so like obviously the tree falling on the boathouse that he wanted to have him remove the tree because it was dead, but that's brand new because that just happened. So that lawsuit that he mentioned
Right.
from like a year ago, that was something else. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I got the vibe that it was like property line related also, but I have no idea because it seemed like they were neighbors who didn't like each other because of like neighborly disputes, but not like they hated each other.
Hey, as somebody who had real shitty neighbors for the last like 10 years, I get it.
You hear that, Paige's neighbors who she can now talk about?
Yeah.
Because she's safe from.
God, they were bad. And like the last day I moved out when I was collecting my keys, I went to like the one neighbor that I liked to say goodbye. And I was like, yeah, part of the reason we're moving is because they bought, like the people who lived above us, they bought their kids roller skates and basketballs and let them play with them in the house over our heads as we were sleeping. And the neighbor that I liked just pointed at them and went, you got no class. It's one of the best things I'd ever seen. Anyway, he's going to go to the hardware store to get sealant and new glass and stop at the grocery store.
Yeah.
So that they can get food because obviously the storm is going to put some power out. It's going to be an issue, clearly.
Yeah.
But first he's going to go talk to the neighbor, and the neighbor's car has been destroyed by a tree. And I do think that he is trying to be nice, where he's just like, hey, that sucks. I'm sorry. You know, let's go into town. We'll figure stuff out. You know, it's a storm. Nobody's doing great. You know,
I think
whatever.
once Thomas Jane realized that his car got destroyed and he's like, shit, man, we're all in the same boat. Like, let's just, you know, be civil to each other. Like, that's why I think it, like, whatever happened a year ago wasn't like earth shattering, life changing bad. It was just like a property line dispute or some shit like that. Because in this moment, there is some like general kindness between them, like societal, we're just people in society. Let's be nice to each other kind of kindness.
I'm a dude. You're a dude.
Yeah.
Let's go be dudes together.
But it also is a way to make him ride in Thomas Jane's like perfect for this horror movie apocalypse car.
Anyway, they head out to the grocery store. He stops to call, I believe, his wife just to let them know where they are. And the boy, his son, Big Bill, heads in with Mr. Norton, the neighbor.
Yeah.
Once they get inside, we find out that the power is out at the store, which means all the check stands are out. You need to pay by cash or check, which is a nightmare in and of itself. But that's why it's taking so long for people to get through in the lines.
Yeah.
But they make their way through the store. There seems to be plenty of stuff for everybody. They're just picking up the essentials. As they're there, a handful of soldiers come in and they're looking for items. Their bus is going to leave in 30 minutes. These are supposed to be soldiers going on leave. We will find out.
What's that guy who looks like a vampire's deal? Like I've seen him in other stuff before.
He was on Smallville for like ever. I'm surprised you don't recognize him from Smallville. The one person who watched every season of Smallville.
I don't understand why we have to personally attack me. That's fine.
It's not you. It's Smallville.
When you liked genre stuff back in the day, you took what you got.
That is true. Like when Smallville came out, like Marvel wasn't a thing in movies or any of that shit.
Yeah. Anyway, so the military police show up and they're like, leaves are canceled. Move it or lose it, dudes. And they're like, we're going to lose it. Like, we're going to stay in the store.
Yeah, we're not going to end up spidered to a wall like I've been taken by an alien, MP.
It is very alien-esque.
I feel the worst for that death. Like, I think that would be the worst way to go.
Oh, yeah. I don't understand how anybody gets pregnant.
Least of all vampires. Should we relitigate the vampire pregnancies?
I mean, he was kind of dressed.
Like he wanted it?
What, Paige? Why would you say that?
Fuck you. You set me up for that, you bastard. You bastard.
4D chess.
Oh, God.
Well, you know, MP stands for multiple pregnancies going on in my body.
The warning signs were there, Paige.
They were indeed. Anyway, they hear a series of sirens coming down the street very fast. They see a lot of police pass the front of the store, which for me, here's my problem. Here's why I'm going to die in this apocalypse. Because at that point, I'd be like, ooh, high-speed chase. And I'd like, can we watch it on our phones? Like, terrible.
In 2007, no, you couldn't have. But now you 100% could, yes. But now there would be TikTokers getting snatched up in the mist left and right, Paige.
Oh my God, so much.
Yeah.
Bored in the house and I'm in the house bored. Like, snatched by a fog crab.
Exactly. Like that is how we would learn the apocalypse is happening.
And the fog crab is just tearing him in half. Like, why did you spell it segs? Just say sex. Like that kind of shit. But then the air raid siren sounds, which we don't really have.
Oh, we do.
I have a siren in my alleyway right here.
Ugh.
And the first Saturday of the month, they test it at noon. And every time I'm scared to death.
Ugh.
Yeah. I can hear them testing it from my house too.
Yeah.
Not Mikey's. There are other ones.
Are you sure you're not just in Mikey's alleyway like, love me, please?
Love me. Mike, say you love me.
And that's why I have a cattle prod.
For all them cows. Yeah, got it. Anyway, so the cattle prod alarm goes off. And at that point, everyone else is like, oh, shit just got real? Like, what? And people just freeze in the store. And at this point in the movie, I'm like, oh, this might be good. Because, this is very scary. And that is how people would react. Just like, what do I do?
And it really is like everything is almost business as usual. I mean, obviously,
Yes.
no internet. So, there are some things that aren't working normally, but everything is civilized. The air raid siren goes off and then people start to lose it immediately. That is the moment things start to oh, this is not a normal storm kind of a situation.
Yeah.
And then when that guy runs in with blood on him, dude, this cold open, if you will call it that, is so good.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's great. And this is something that the Walking Dead was great about.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. It fell off after a while. There were things that they changed that weren't great. But at its best moments, The Walking Dead really tapped into the desperation of the remaining humans and how that could be so dangerous. I feel like The Last of Us does a great job with it also. Like, it's a zombie movie staple or an apocalypse movie staple. But in this moment, I could absolutely like picture myself in that store going, what's out there versus how crazy are these people going to get?
Yeah.
How fast can I run? What can I take with me? What do I need? Just like, right, like running through my head of like, okay, how do we survive whatever this is?
Yeah, but then imagine having your child there. Like, none of us have kids, but like, I can only imagine that would make it so much worse.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, and like, I was at the water park with my godson this past weekend, and like, all I could think is like, you would just scoop them up and run. Yeah. And what else could you do? You know, like, anyway, as you mentioned, a guy runs into a Law and Order regular, runs into the store covered in blood. Oh, wait, also, he was on Walking Dead also.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
All of these
half
people.
The cast, really. Well, Thomas Jane was almost Rick Grimes. Burned fun facts.
He would have been a great Rick Grimes too.
Rick Grimes. Mm-hmm.
But he was like a movie star at this time, so
he was. They probably could not afford him, I would guess. Anyway, so bloody guy runs in screaming, and he's like, there's something in the fucking mist. It just took this other dude, and I got away, and holy shit, stay inside.
And then he's like, lock the door, lock the door, lock the door. Because they're like watching the mist slowly sort of it does a really good job of building the tension. Because the mist is like coming to the parking lot, and you see people running like through cars trying to get to the door, and like hear people getting snatched when they like are no longer seeable in the mist. It is like pretty fucking scary.
It is, but can I tell you what I thought it was that for me was infinitely scarier? A little about me. I don't implicitly trust the government because I've read too much about MK Ultra and how they like attach radios to cats and shit.
But this is also you should not trust the government.
100%.
Like, Project Arrowhead caused this.
But think of the innovation.
What innovation?
We're able to take the mist and power our cars for 4 to 6 hours longer.
Great. Thank you. I did not think it was going to be cosmic horror. I thought this would be much more along the lines of bioweapon, where if you breathed it in, it then was either psychoactive or altering and would kill you, which that's a real thing that they tested in San Francisco in the 60s. So like that, I thought it was that. And I was like, this is about to get fucking real. This is about to be some real scary shit. And then no, it was monsters. But like,
I love that Paige watched this like she was in the band Rage Against the Machine and was let down when it wasn't government warfare on its own civilians. Although I'd argue it is. Yeah, it is. Sort of.
It's just a heightened monster version of a very real thing that the government did to people.
It is a they dug too deep kind of fuck up, not a let's test biological chemicals on our citizenry kind of fuck up. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just spray things around the bay and see what fucking happens.
There's so many people.
Yeah, Mikey, there are a lot of people. That doesn't mean we shouldn't test on them.
I'm against animal testing. Just people testing.
Oh God. It was testing for bioweapons and mind control. It was when they were testing LSD is when they infected a lot of people.
So they had a good trip.
Yeah, I believe it's called Operation Sea Breeze. Let me double check. If you want to Google it.
Oh, that's my favorite flavor of wine cooler.
I still have not recovered from when you told me your go-to snow cone flavor was wedding cake.
Oh, yeah, that was
There's
wild.
got to be other people who like wedding cake snow cones.
We'll find out tomorrow when that episode drops on Romance in the Pod.
It was Operation Midnight Climax. It's a way wilder name than I predicted.
God, I love how horny that is. That's amazing.
I'm on that operation every week. You know what I'm saying?
Anyway, that's what I thought it was going to be. A zombie movie from the government, you know, like Planet Terror or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, the whole earth rumbles. They have like an earthquake. The windows shatter a little bit, or at least crack.
Yeah, one or two of them do. Yeah.
But then it stops and they decide that they're going to kind of stay there, except for Carol, who wants to get home to her kids. She was one of the best parts of The Walking Dead. I like that they gave her the same costume and haircut.
She's the same person.
Yeah.
Except she made it and got her kids this time.
Yeah, I'm not at all surprised she got a main role on a TV show forever after this movie because she's so good in this.
And not only in that one, I think she's in one of the spin-offs too. Working.
I'm sure.
She's like the Mariska Hargitay of The Walking Dead.
She's so good in this though, man. She's great.
So good.
I do love that we see her at the end.
Oh yeah, I when she walks into the mist, I was like, she survives. I don't know how I knew, but I was just like, Carol always survives. You go get him, Carol. That's right. But she needs to go home because she left her kids home and there's a baby and an 8-year-old. And I was like, that's a bad idea.
Yeah. Well, and she knows it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why she was like, I gotta go home.
Yeah. And she's like, no one will help me. You could all rot in hell. And somebody should have gone with her. If he had gone with her.
Well, I think that's what the movie is saying at the end. Had
Yeah.
you made the right choice at the beginning, you and your son would be alive right now, is what that's saying. Yeah. Before he runs at one of those soldiers and then gets shot by them.
That's absolutely what, we cut the movie right before that happens.
Yeah.
So we meet everybody in the store, which is useless because there's way too many of them and we will never keep track.
Oh, yeah.
And they constantly die. At one point, I forget what his name, it was like Alphonse or whatever. And I was like, who's named Alphonse? And then that guy died. I was like, oh, apparently that guy. All right.
Paige, there's so many characters. I don't know what anyone's name is, and half of the cast was wearing name tags. I have
Oh my
no
God, I
idea
didn't
who
even
they
think
are.
about that.
Yeah.
I never know character names, and I love it that way.
How did we feel about the middle manager that's like, I'm going to mark you down for drinking a beer? Bruh, it's the fucking apocalypse. Fire me, fucker. I'm calling out.
I loved how Ollie was like, yeah, you can write me up, but just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I'll take a demerit or whatever, asshole. This store isn't going to be standing in 2 days. Yeah, I'm on break. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so we meet everyone, and everyone's just kind of chilling out, taking painkillers, or taking anti-anxiety medication because somebody has some, which will come into play later.
One person does take a Valium, yeah. But I mean, everyone's sort of okay, we've got food here. How do we stay holed up in this
right
as safely as possible? But no one is really hyper concerned yet.
No.
Well, they're thinking it's a mill explosion and all sorts of stuff. They're like,
Yeah.
it's radiation. And I'm like, well, that glass wouldn't help with that guy.
Well, but they'd also be breathing it in because the doors aren't airtight. But that's why when I initially was like, oh no, it's toxic, and then they were just like, close the doors, I was like, that won't fucking help. But then it's not toxic, it's monsters. Anyway.
Of course, because if it was like that, Paige, it wouldn't be in a Stephen King movie, because then that would be the problem, not the breakdown of society being the problem, which is what he loves to write in his stories, which he's really good at.
Well, but that's the thing. It would potentially still be the breakdown of society. It would just be a zombie movie.
That's fair.
Anyway, so we cut to Thomas Jane is going to go check out the generator in the back because he's trying to get blankets for his son, moving blankets, which, by the way, if you ever have to sleep in a pinch and there's moving blankets, shockingly comfortable.
Yeah, they actually are not bad. I've done that in a pinch when in some dark times in my life. But the reason he goes back there is to get those. He only notices that the generator's on, which they still have power, so it doesn't need to be on necessarily, and it's smoking. So something's wrong.
Their power's not on. It's the generator is powering parts of the store to keep the food fresh, but it's not functioning properly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the street lights are on later.
But that's a different grid.
Is
Because
it?
they talk about they're like, maybe we could patch into it, but then we'd have to go outside.
Okay,
Yeah, it's the whole thing.
okay. Makes sense.
But yeah, moving blankets, the mattress of the desperate.
Yes.
Anyway, so he goes to turn off the generator and the lights go out, and he hears something kind of pushing against the loading dock door.
Yeah.
Now, we cut inside to Marcia Gay Harden chewing all the scenery. It's like the scenery is her communion. This is my body, do this in remembrance of me, because she is just like, and lo, he doth rain scorpions from the heavens. And you're just like, what book is she reading?
She is chewing all of the wafers in this movie, my man.
Mouthful of communion wafers.
I love her. She's great in everything she's in. And
Always great.
I truly hate her character in this movie, but she does such a great job playing this character.
Oh, she's amazing.
Yeah.
And her character to me is terrifying.
Yeah, same. For very specific reasons, this is one of the most scary things to me. So when Ollie shoots her, I was like, Yes.
Oh, thank God. Yeah.
Ollie's the best.
He just saved a bunch of lives.
I know. I hope he never dies in 30 seconds.
Oh, no. Yeah, well.
Justice for Ollie. Ollie, oops.
I mean, that was his Rudy moment. Like, they might as well have, like, lifted him in the store and been like, Ollie. But, like, that's as good as it's going to get for him.
But instead, they picked up his legs and put him down on the manager's desk. And then Thomas Jane picked up the other guy's legs and put that down on the manager's desk.
I know what you're talking about.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the jerseys.
Yeah.
Well, that's what that fog crab was doing. He was just trying to lift him higher than the rest of the teammates.
Because you all know that famous Crabman song, Can You Lift Him Higher?
I am a fog crab and I have these giant claws.
First off, obviously, I loved what you just sang, Paige. Amazing. 10 out of 10. What I was going to say, and I do love, is when you and I started singing, the first thing Mikey did was pick up his phone.
Every time. I'm like, well, I can't add to this. I've been doing this enough years now to know that I can't just like jump in with I'm not Wayne Brady or whatever the fuck you guys want me to be.
Scott, stop.
You can't prove to me that the song Higher is not about the mist.
You can't. It's about the fog crab.
Except I'm 80. Well, I guess the book was out.
A place with evil bees. Yeah.
Are those lyrics? I don't know.
Who knows?
Nobody knows.
Oh, no one knows.
We'll have to get an archaeologist on it.
An archaeologist?
That's
to
how
read
old
the
that
ancient
song
cave
is.
paintings that Creed songs are written off of? What?
Have to unfurl the scrolls on those
Yeah.
songs.
Yeah.
Would you eat an alien giant crab? Because I think I would.
Yes.
Well, how much butter do we have?
So we have a grocery store full of butter, Paige.
Is it good butter? Or I'm not normally a crab person, but I feel like for victory, yeah.
I would too, for victory. I don't like seafood,
Yeah.
but who knows if I'd like cosmic food.
Yeah, that's
All
true.
they got to do is kill one of the big crabs, break it up, wear it as armor, and then they can move around between buildings.
That sounds like you want to make some sort of fog crab Gundam, and I'm here for it.
Yes, I do. You guys want to read my spec script for the Myst sequel called Fog Crab Gundam?
Yes, I do.
Weird cosmic crab Zord.
I honestly just want to see the gear up animation they do Sailor Moon style for you.
It's just me duct taping animal parts to my body, and then
But no, you got to spin
making
around and be naked for a
robot
second
noises.
first, like Sailor Moon, and then you get the crab parts.
Yeah. So if you guys out there want to animate that,
Oh
feel
my
free.
God, Sailor Moon, crabs are in the ocean, follow the money.
So the Myst is bad, people die in it or whatever. It's like a thing.
This movie is a real downer. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why we're like, hey, can we talk about anything other than the sadness this movie makes us feel?
It doesn't make me feel sad. I really want to die to a Resident Evil 2 creature.
Okay, what's your ideal death creature?
Snoo.
Snoo. Bring me some Philip Mignon and Champagne.
I want to try to fight Godzilla and be murdered by him.
Yes, just a beam of radiation to the face.
You want to fist fight a dinosaur that's as tall as a building, Mikey?
I'm sorry, Todd, did you just hear how fucking cool the sentence you just said was?
fist fight a dinosaur?
Wait, are you the same size wearing your intimidation crab Gundam armor?
No, I'm just on him with like a hunting knife, like trying to stab him over and over again, and I just fall off eventually and die.
I honestly would laugh, but also be like, honestly respect him for taking it to the beast.
Respect.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a losing battle, but he made the honorable step.
Talk about this. I'm also wearing a GoPro.
This is how we would learn about the apocalypse. Mikey trying to battle it one-on-one on TikTok.
Just think about me jumping on Godzilla's head, wearing a GoPro, and taking a piss on him.
Just Calvin and Hobbes style. Just like, USA! USA!
If you nerds out there don't make a Calvin and Hobbes style bumper sticker, I'll be livid. I need to see it. I want to see the back of Mikey pissing on the top of Godzilla's head, but like from the back, like the Calvin and Hobbes thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I want it now. I want it on someone's body by midnight.
Tattooed.
Tattooed on my back.
You have our permission to get that tattooed on you. That and only that. I mean, you could tattoo other things. I don't know your life, but
I don't care what you tattoo on you.
Yeah, I think I'd be killed by Predator. That'd be cool.
Were we talking about that? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, just which cosmic creature do you want to kill you? And I say Predator.
Oh, shit. Mine's going to be weird. Jamiroquai.
That's not a cosmic creature.
He's just a cosmic meal. Yes.
From another galaxy.
I want to jump in a Sarlacc pit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because Boba Fett's going to save me.
Okay, though. Hey, Boba Fett.
I like how Paige is like, yeah, I can make that sacrifice.
Yeah, what's up?
For that Boba Fett dick.
What's up, Boba Fett?
I want to be killed by a creep.
What's a creep?
Night of the Creeps, bro.
Oh,
yeah, from Night of the
you want to
Creeps.
be killed by a turd being pulled across a front lawn?
No.
Yeah, a fish line turd.
Please understand, I love Night of the Creeps, but that is what that looks like.
Or do you want to be killed to the soundtrack of TLC's Creep?
Ooh.
So I creep. Yeah.
Mikey, cause I'm gonna kill you right now.
Cause nobody ever has to know. Yeah.
I don't know how I want to die.
Serve my face with butter. I am a fog crab.
Eat my claw with buttercream.
God, we're just
Yeah.
writing this Red Lobster ad.
Oh my God, yes. When eating at fast casual restaurants, your family needs the Cheddar Bay biscuits.
We are gonna get sued by Scott Stapp, but not for the reason we should.
Let's eat Cheddar Bay. Come on, let's go there.
Let's make this mistake. Should we eat at Red Lobster? Absolutely not. We should never go to this place.
We're way off track. They're in the fucking grocery store, and the mist is trying to get through the loading dock, and it's like, go around, but it won't.
But Thomas Jane hears like what sounds like animals like brushing up against the loading dock like gate.
Yeah.
That you can't see through, but that like metal thing that like rolls up. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And so he goes out and he's like, I heard something back there. And they're just like, no, you fucking didn't. And I was like, who the fuck are these assholes? There's a death mist outside. And they're just like, I bet nothing spooky has happened. What? Like, come on now.
The level of like, nuh-uh, that like goes on in this movie is ridiculous. I mean, that is until shit actually like hits the front like windows, because then everyone's like, oh, we're fucked, we're dying here. But like for the next 30 minutes or maybe 20 minutes of the movie, it is really just like Thomas Jane like, no, I heard something, or no, a kid died, and everyone going, no, he didn't. No, you didn't hear anything.
Whatever. Here's what baffles me, right? Because there's that one guy who's just like, nothing's out there and don't condescend to me. And he like won't believe shit that Thomas Jane has to say.
Yeah.
But then later when Marcia Gay Harden is just like, and the scorpions will fall from the sky. He's like, yes, the scorpions. Tell me all about the scorpions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, really? Like, come on now.
Yeah.
And they pour their vials of scorpion juice onto the land. Onto the land, yes.
Scorpion juice?
I don't know.
No, I mean, she might as well have said that.
Revelation be wild. And the scorpion had 7 backs and 7 scrolls and 7 hills and 7 ladies. And they ate on the tree and the tree and the ground and the ground and the hole.
Oh my God. I think this movie would have been better if there was a soundtrack of just grocery store music in the background the whole time.
I was picturing our grocery stores always play like old 90s stuff. So like you're shopping and it's just like, look into my eyes, can't you see they're open wide? Would I lie to you, babe? And you're just like, no. And I'm buying wheat thins. Yes.
The raptor birds are like flying through the front window, and it's just like, love me, say that you love me.
Yeah.
Are we at the point where the bugs come?
No, we're at the point where the tentacles are about to come.
Bro, we barely
Bugs
have
are like
started
an
talking
hour
about the
from
movie.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I need you two to stop singing.
We haven't even been singing that much. We just talked a lot about crabs.
Yeah.
Most of it was in a song. So I'm just going to say.
No, you were the one that wanted to make a crab Gundam.
You realize that is a baller thing to do, though, Paige, right?
You don't see me complaining. I was not complaining.
But now we're talking about the things we were sidetracked off of instead of getting retracked.
I just want this episode to end.
Well, then stop. Sidetrack.
You can't see the gaslight because of the mist out there. I have ADHD.
We all do, Mikey. It's not an excuse.
We literally all do.
I'm not medicated.
Neither am I.
I recently had to stop my meds because they were making me nauseous, and I have yet to meet with my psychiatric physician again.
Do you know why that is? Because you need to eat food with your medication. A grape and a half ain't going to do it.
But I put it in the grape. Is that not what you're saying?
I have to put it in cheese or I spit it out.
Unfortunately, Todd, I'm grape first, then pill.
Controversial take. No, I'm just joking.
Wait, we're doing it again. All right, Paige, say the thing about the movie.
Okay, so nobody believes him, and then he's like, "Come out to the thing and look at the loading dock," and they're like, "I don't hear shit." And then the young kid is like, "Well." Norm, the bag boy, is like, well, I'll just go out there and see. And they're like, you can't go out there. I'm like, that's rule number 1 of Death Mist is like, don't go outside.
Yeah, don't go into the death mist.
Yeah.
But the reason they want to go out, or they're sort of like asking him to go out, is to clear the like vent leading to the generator because that was causing the problem or whatever.
That's why it was like overheating or whatever it was. Yeah.
And so he's just, Norm is the kid's name. It's just like, I'll go. It's not a big deal. It'll be fine. And at this point, like, some creepy shit has happened. We don't have any confirmation outside of that guy coming in and saying something bad happened, right?
Right.
So, like, I definitely would not go outside under these circumstances, but I could see if I was like a dumb kid, I might.
Yeah, no, this is a situation where I'm like, yeah, you can go outside. You can walk around the camp that definitely has a machete killer. I'm going to stay over here.
Exactly.
Like, I've seen too many movies to fall for this shit. But everyone he talks to in this movie about it is like, you're not making me fall for that shit. And I'm like, have y'all never seen a movie? Like, I know they're movies and that's not real life, but it's enough to make me be like, lock your doors and don't go the fuck outside.
Yeah.
Like, we're just going to stay here.
Right.
Stay here and see if we can start a cult. Let's go. Anyway, they open the roll door and the mist stays kind of stationary outside the door, which is actually a really cool effect.
It is.
It took
so
them a
cool.
long time to figure out how to do it because that's a practical effect.
I know. That's why it looks so good, Paige. It's like the only one that looks that good.
That water vapor is real.
Yeah, it is real. And they had to alter the temperature in one room versus the room outside and the pressure front between them. And so they would have to like close the door, seal it, and then like adjust the temperature in each room and then turn on the fog machine and then open the door. They could only do it for a little bit at a time. But to me, that's fascinating. That's like a really cool thing that they did.
It is honestly cool and it looks amazing.
It looks amazing, but it's about to get real sexy up in here because tentacles come out and they try to like grab our boy Norm.
They do grab our boy Norm.
They do grab Norm. And they start ripping his skin off because they're like tentacles that have claws, which is real fucking freaky.
It is real freaky. Like this character design is creepy to me. The bugs and stuff, not that creepy, but this is, creepy.
Give me suction cups or give me death.
Okay.
But suction cups with teeth?
Well, Mikey loves teeth.
I do like teeth, but I don't like tentacles. So it's like, I'm
not into tentacle stuff either, honestly. Like, it's not for me.
Is very into tentacles, it seems.
What? No, what?
I do wish sometimes that this was a video podcast because your face would have led people to believe that
people
you
at
were
home.
super
Paige is looking at Todd and I being like, we're not into tentacles. And she's like, what the fuck?
I was very deep in thought.
I know. We could tell.
She gave me a disgusted look when I said I'm not into tentacle porn, and she's like, "What is it? Why?"
The look was not in response to you. It was me picturing tentacle porn and being like,
Sure it was.
But I like my, I like my tentacles with suction cups, like octopuses.
Oh,
Pussy,
okay.
octopi.
Oh, so you're into the porn if it's got suction cups. Okay, got it.
No, but I think it's cool that they can I like the sound that suction cups makes.
Can you do that one more time?
There's nothing I love more than a Mikey sound effect. Like, it is like a top 10 thing in my life.
See, mine is asking a question and getting an instant Mikey answer that you didn't expect, like Borg Queen.
Yeah, it's the best. Literally, this is exactly the conversation we were having the first night I met Mikey, and I was like, I love this dude.
You know the sound I'm talking about when you
Yes,
munch a suction
Yeah, of
cup?
course
Yes,
I
we
have
know.
ears. I've watched octopuses solve problems on YouTube. We shouldn't be eating them. They're too smart.
I had a friend who had an octopus as a professor. There's a whole TV show
There's
about
a
it
whole
or whatever.
documentary about it.
Oh. Anyway, those redneck guys, they don't help.
They don't help. Nobody helps. Everyone's fucking
Literally
terrified.
nobody helps him except for Ollie. And Ollie does it after a bit. Like, Thomas Jane goes almost immediately, and everyone takes a beat before they do anything.
Yeah, because it's like super hot and they don't want to ruin the moment.
Paige, I knew you were into tentacle shit.
Anyway, so the tentacles are ripping pieces of his skin off. Nobody's really helping. They're trying to pull him back. They can't. Thomas Jane gets an axe, or rather Ollie breaks the glass to get the axe. Thomas Jane takes it, cuts off one of the pieces of the tentacles as they close the door.
But Norm gets pulled out, man.
Because at that point they're like, there's no way we can save him. We can't cut the tentacles off without killing him.
Yeah.
And it's stronger than us.
It's real sad, though. It's terrible. I feel bad for Norm.
Tentacles have a very strong pull on people like Paige.
It's more of a, you know what?
It's more of a...
Yeah, you get it. It's like the bubble wrap of the sea. Anyway, all of the other the dumb dudes are like, sorry, we doubted you. How the hell were we supposed to know there was danger in the mist? And it's like, well, the bloody guy told you.
Yeah, it literally is the biggest I fucking told you so moment ever.
Yeah. And he was like, well, how the hell was I supposed to know what you meant? And I was like, what?
Yeah, he's like, I thought you meant a big bird or something. No, what? What are we talking about?
Anyway, so Thomas Jane is mad because he's like, I'm covered in that kid's blood and it didn't have to happen, but you guys were stupid, but oh well.
Yeah,
He punches them.
he does. Yeah.
Because wouldn't you? Why not? Very
Yes.
punchable face.
No, I didn't know that kid. I mean, whatever. I have my own kid to worry about.
True.
Mikey clearly sees himself as Thomas Jane in this movie.
Thomas Jane did too much. He was doing too much. I would have been like, all right, that's my kid. Most important thing that I'm going to do is just protect this kid. That teenager, I told him not to go out there. He went out there. And at that point, I'm done.
Yeah,
I think he did it more to keep the thing from coming in.
same.
Oh, yeah.
You know? I know that's what people want to see in that kind of porn, but Anyway, they go out into the store and everyone's like, hey, where's that bag boy? And they're like, oh, fuck. And they're like, why are you covered in blood? Shh. So now he pulls a shirt off the rack in the store and they're like, okay, we gotta fucking tell people, I guess.
But this is when Amanda, the lady he sort of leaves the store with, is like, because she's the one who's like, what happened? Why are you all bloody? And he's changing in front of her. And she's just like, okay, I'm going to hang out with this dude way more from here on out.
Right.
Because damn.
Yeah.
And she does. You see her next to him the rest of this movie.
Oh, yeah. So they then are like, okay, we got to talk to people. We'll talk to my neighbor because people listen to him. He's a lawyer, or whatever.
Yeah.
And so he's like, hey, so we just went out there to the loading dock and there's some fucking tentacles and shit. And he's like, do you think I'm fucking stupid? What? And there's a part of me that's like, bro, we don't know what is out there. It's an evil death mist. What are we doing?
Yeah.
And he's like, nope, no tentacles. I don't fucking believe you. You're an asshole. It's this whole thing.
He was a little unrealistic about his reaction to it.
Well, Thomas Jane does get in his face a little bit, which is not great and doesn't help for sure.
True. But if 5 people are telling you something happened.
Yes.
In this type of situation.
Right.
I get that it sounds crazy. You've never heard the term cosmic horror. I get it. But why would they lie?
Well, okay. So here's I'll play devil's advocate for a moment here.
All right, Captain Holt, let's go.
Let's go. Bad shit happens.
Yeah.
People freak out. And sometimes that leads to them not having the best judgment and spiraling out of control over what they may or may not have seen. And sometimes that is catching.
Sure.
And it's very easy to radicalize a whole group of people behind something that is maybe not as realistic when they're in this heightened state.
Oh, yeah. That's why in this film, you would cut to me in the background eating Ben & Jerry's pints one after one in the background.
Just saying, the power's out. We're going to lose it. We gotta eat it now.
Gotta eat it now. The tonight dough. We gotta eat it tonight dough.
Yeah. It's really funky monkey weather outside.
Yeah. I'm really cherishing this Cherry Garcia.
Those monsters seem really pistachioed off.
I wish we were on a peanut butter world. That's my favorite flavor. Sorry.
Oh, you're going to go out into the mist? That's
Your plan seems kind of half-baked.
Yes, exactly.
Anyway, he's like, yeah, no. Not only do I not believe you, I'm going to fucking go out there. And he's like, that's crazy. Why don't we let somebody in the loading dock come and look at this tentacle we've got? And so the store manager, the one who's like trying to write people up for drinking beers and shit, he walks back there and sees the chunk of tentacle that is a very real practical effect and kind of cool. And then he like pokes at it and it dies. And he's like, oh no. And he comes out and what he says is, we may have a problem of some magnitude here.
I love it. I was like, this fucking nerd. Like that is the most official way to say anything.
So we cut to them stocking like fertilizer and dog food and cat food along the windows because they're the biggest bag. They're kind of like sandbags.
Yeah.
And duct taping the cracks in the windows. And he's like, so do you guys want to just stack dog food or go outside? Because I think it's just a fucking mist. And who's scared of a fucking mist?
Me.
And everyone's like, me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm scared of the mist.
Think how humid it is.
Yeah, right? My hair would be ruined.
I'd be sweaty. Call it the moist.
I don't want to sweat too much between my thighs. I'll chafe.
I will chafe.
This episode brought to you by Chafe Escape, our real product I use when I run long distance.
If I'm going to go fight monsters in the moist, I need my compression shorts.
I need my Mega Babe to go under boob and between thighs. Let's go.
Heck yeah. Listen, you have to gear up correctly when fighting cosmic horror monsters.
Yes.
You can't have your balls slinging around. You got to keep your shit tight.
I wouldn't know about that.
I do.
Balls are kind of the boobs. Wait, nope.
Nope, they are not.
I don't know about that.
I was going to say boobs are the balls of the chest is what I meant. And
or
it got
balls
all
of the
messed
boobs
up.
of the pants, but either way, it's
Yeah,
incorrect.
balls are the boobs of the pants, but that's why I have to put Mega Babe under my boobs.
I do think that balls are the boobs of the dick, not of the pants.
Now we're just putting words in a hat and
Yeah.
shuffling them around.
You took my joke and you murdered it right in its crib.
Throw it in the dunes, Mikey!
I forgot about throwing the crab in the dude.
Everyone who listened to the Romance in the Pod episode from this past week on Imagine Me and You gets that joke. You're
That episode
welcome.
went off the rails very quickly.
Yeah,
I found a dead crab. Over. That works for this movie too.
it does.
Honey, are you out there in the mist? I found a dead crab. Over. Throw it in the dunes.
I do love that. Like, we should have had Duke guest on this episode, Mikey. Can you get in touch with him and see if he's available?
Unfortunately, no, I cannot.
And calling in from his
But I do know
walkie-talkie.
his home address.
That's
I
real.
was like, oh, you're like a kid from like a movie or something. Like, get out of here.
The human crab weighs 8 pounds, which I know I also said on that episode, but it's still true today.
It's always been true, Paige.
It's as true as it was then, now.
As it is now, yeah.
Anyway, Captain Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine is like, I'm just going to go outside. And Marcia Gay Harden is like, there's no court of appeals in hell. And I'm like, for a crazy person, you've got great one-liners.
Yeah.
And then she takes her hair down, too. That's how you know she's getting serious about her cult status.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is her Super Bowl. She's been waiting for this
Yeah.
for a very long time.
It's time
yeah.
for me to read aloud from Revelation chapter 15. And lo, this might be a metaphor for ancient Rome and the political prisoners within. Anyway, so they decide that they're going to go out and they're going to tie rope to them so they can see how far they get.
Yeah. Well, it's actually, okay, so like Captain Holt and his cohort are just leaving. They're not taking the rope.
Yeah.
They are straight up just leaving. One of the guys had come up earlier and said, hey, I know we're all like gearing up and we found a gun with like 10 bullets or whatever. I have a shotgun in my truck. It's not too far away, but I'm not going to go get it. And someone now is volunteering to go get that truck. And that's the person who's like, you can tie me up. I'm going out and coming back. That's fine.
Yeah. Anyway, so as they're discussing this plan, Marcia Gay Harden is losing her shit and shouting about scorpions and the scrolls had eyes and those eyes had wings. And you're like, okay, all right, lady. And so Amanda just gives her a hard right hook, just like boom.
She does slap her. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, like the actress
She draws
actually
blood.
slaps her. Yes.
Yeah. And everyone at first is like, okay, can you quiet down? You're freaking us out.
Yeah.
If you guys want to go, get the one guy to take the rope. We'll see what happens, right?
Yeah.
So they go out and they make it about 200 feet. And then the rope gets pulled taut. And they do a thing that the Endless does that I think works a lot better in the Endless, where the rope gets pulled up high.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, no one could have walked that high. That's not good.
Yeah, the Endless does it so good. But this is still scary, though. Like,
He jumps so high.
he did jump so high in the Endless. But this one, it's also like being pulled very fast.
Yes.
Which I guess you could explain away as like someone running.
Right.
But when it goes high, it's like, oh, he's not running up, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And when the rope drops, when they start to pull it back, it's just covered in blood. Like,
Yeah.
it's just mayhem.
I would have stopped pulling at that point.
Yeah, well, and we cut to outside and see that we're pulling just a set of legs.
Yeah.
Which, you know
Just-
what? I'm a leg guy, so.
Oh, legs and teeth, Mikey.
Yeah. Thighs and drumsticks, yo.
I hated the part where they pulled it in and then two people went in and pulled it apart to see who got the most to have good luck for the rest of the year.
Oh, God. Which side has the dick?
Check the dick boobs.
If you got the dick, that means we've got summer coming sooner.
We got 6 more weeks of mist.
Yeah. Anyway, so they're all like, okay, well, this is bad. This is real bad.
Yeah.
And night is coming. And of course, Crazy Lady is like, they will come to us at night. And I'm like, yeah, that's what animals do. Like, of course.
Yeah. Thanks, David Attenborough.
Yeah. And lo, the giant fireflies came to the window. Yeah. So they've got some lights on in the store, but they don't have a ton of power behind them.
Yeah.
But as dusk starts to happen, that's when they start to see bugs coming up against the window. Now, before there's a ton of them, because at first there's only like one, we cut to the back in the break room where Wayne, one of the soldiers, is with, I don't remember her name, but whatever, the checkout girl.
Yeah.
And they make out and she's like, no, I don't want it to happen like this. And you know what? She's wrong. If you get a chance to fuck someone during the apocalypse, you take that chance. You do that.
I mean, I bet she would have rather got stung by him than by the flying scorpion in here in like 3 minutes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she could have gotten it, but didn't.
She could have gotten it. You never know when a flying scorpion is going to sting you in the neck and you're going to die of anaphylaxis. So take that dick when you can. It's the apocalypse.
Get it in when
the
you can fit it in.
baby. It's like the Outlander paradox. It's apocalypse rules.
Yes.
You don't know if you're going to live or die. Take that dick if you want to. If you don't want to at all, then like, you know. I'm just like, if you are, you know, dickly inclined, now's the time. No better time than today.
Oh, that rhymed.
Oh, thank you. Anyway, so they kind of make out, but nothing else happens. Lo and behold, back out in the store, there's now a ton of giant bugs. And there's a giant dino bat who's eating the bugs.
Yeah, it is like a dino bat. Like, but it's, I don't know, almost like raptor size. Like, it's pretty big.
Yeah, it's like a raptor bat.
Yeah.
No, raptor bat.
But it is not necessarily trying to break the windows. It's trying to grab the bugs and eat them.
Yeah.
But the bugs are on the windows.
Because those bugs are like fish food.
Yeah.
These are more Ben and Jerry's references for everybody.
That
who
was
likes
fish
Ben and
food,
Jerry.
if you want to know how it was spelled. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, because they're like on the windows and the raptor bats are like grabbing at the bugs, they're also breaking the windows.
Right.
And then the bugs start going inside, so the raptor bats start going inside, and then literally all hell breaks loose inside the store.
Okay, we need to pause right here because I need to talk about this.
Please.
Yeah.
These people know that there are monsters outside.
Yes.
They bar the doors. They're stacking dog food or what the fuck they're doing.
Right.
But they turn all the lights on. I've been like, guys, during the night, we want all the lights off so no one is attracted to
Yeah,
you.
no one
Yes.
thinks we're home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't understand why they didn't think of that at all.
Well, in
People
fact,
get dumb during the apocalypse.
they turn on a bunch of the like short time period extra lights they have,
Yeah.
and they leave them on. I mean, once they're in the store, you kind of got to like clear aisle by aisle. Like I understood why they left them on once they're in the store, but they should not have been on before then, and they were.
Yeah, exactly. They do start trying to light mops on fire, but for some reason they can't get a lighter to work for like 20 minutes.
Multiple people struggle to light one mop in this scene, and it is infuriating to watch.
Yes. And that's another one of those things that I'm like, you could cut 3 minutes out of the runtime of this movie if somebody just lit that damn mop.
I know. Or they show you us trying to light it once,
Yeah.
and that's it until we see it being lit later on.
Yeah.
I don't need 3 cutaways showing me you're still having trouble lighting it.
Trying to
I
do
get it because it's not lit yet.
Yes. Unfortunately, in the melee, Sally, the checkout girl, is bit by some sort of flying scorpion thing.
She's stabbed, technically, not bit. Yeah, because that's
Still with the face of Bart Simpson.
Yeah, because her face just kind of like.
well, no,
I
I
mean,
think he
the
means
bug's
the
face,
bug's
the
face.
bug's
Oh, yeah,
face.
because they've got the human teeth, but the scorpion. Yeah, it's real weird.
It's a weird looking bug. Yeah.
Real weird. But she's dying and is just like, I should have sucked that dick. Like, but nope. Because here's the thing. If they had had sex in the back room, they'd probably still be having sex in the back room, and she'd probably still be alive.
Oh, so what you're saying is they'd be alive, the two of them?
If us
be
three were there,
alive.
I'd be like, y'all, let's go get a bunch of food and shit and just stay in this back room and shut the door.
Here's my favorite part. At one point, one of the dino bats, the raptor bats, flies into the frozen case, and in my notes I just have, not the ice cream!
It wouldn't be a problem if I was there. 'Cause
That ice cream would have been gone already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Over here downing Americone dream after Americone dream.
Just drinking it.
It would be an eclair affair, which is one of my old favorites.
Anyway, Sally's dying. And also, one of the dudes caught on fire. And my favorite part of this scene is that the old guy from Walking Dead is just like, where did they put the damn extinguishers? And in my notes, I just have, the excitement of killing dino bats with the mundanity of not knowing where stuff is in a store. I was just like, aisle 6. I don't know. I'm just like running.
That guy Darwined himself out. I would not have left the store for it. I've been like, I'm sorry your brother lit himself on
yeah.
fire.
Yeah.
I that's really sad.
Okay, this is controversial. And I don't know if we want to get into how each of us may feel about.
Would you have given him the gun? I know where you're
Yep.
going.
100%. Yeah. I would have done it for him.
I wouldn't have been able to. I thought about that too. I do think he's begging for it, man. Like, and he's in
Yes.
so much pain.
Excruciating pain. And I have no idea if a hospital even exists anymore. We're definitely not going to get him there in a time that's going to be anything less than the worst pain imaginable.
Yeah.
Give him the gun.
Yeah, I don't think I could do it, but I could let him do it.
I'm not gonna waste a bullet. Get another mop.
So that was, I did think about the fact that they only had so many bullets and they probably shouldn't waste a bullet. And I was like, well, what would be another humane way? But definitely don't let that guy keep living.
Yeah.
Like, or don't force him to keep living,
Yeah.
I guess. That's so painful. Like,
You gotta throw him out in the mist because at this point he just smells like barbecue.
Jesus. I mean, yeah. And that would be a fairly quick death.
He's like doing the barbecue in front of the Kroger.
This is the worst food truck idea I've ever heard.
But it's for the environment, Todd.
Y'all may not like my methods because I kill people and sell them to mist monsters, but I'm making a ton of money.
On meat pies in Old Town London.
Anyway, So Billy, the kid, kind of gets loose, and Ollie takes one shot, one opportunity. Spaghetti is on aisle 3.
It is like perfect. It's perfect timing because like there's like a raptor bat coming at Billy the kid.
Yep.
And Thomas Jane goes out, grabs Billy right as Ollie's about to take the shot. So like Billy is pulled out of the way, even though he didn't need to be, because Ollie had that shit on lock.
Ollie had that shit on lock.
But everyone's safe. The raptor bat is dead. Well, not everyone.
It was a real Carl moment. Let's
really
put it that way.
Yeah, it was a super Carl moment. Yeah. But not everyone's alive. The guy who set himself on fire is now about to die. And a few other people died in this exchange, which is predicted by crazy religious lady. So she takes this as like a sign.
Okay.
Let's not forget that this is the first night.
It is the first night.
The first night.
And also this night is when the scorpion flies like come up to her, land on her, and like,
then fly away.
And then fly away because she starts talking gaudy at it. And it's like, oh, I'm not even going to waste my sting on you.
I think it's just because she stood still. Yeah.
I mean, I think she bored it to shit with her, my God, is going to protect me or whatever. And it was just like, I want to save my sting for someone who's really going to be scared of me. So like it went somewhere else. But yeah, everyone saw that too. And this is when she starts to pick up, I think, some actual believers.
Yes. Well, and she's doing the thing that like, okay, so I was at a gas station the other day and a person who I believe was under the influence of a handful of substances came up and was like, I'm drunk as hell and I need money to pay for my motel tonight. Do you have any cash? And I did happen to have cash and I respect honesty. So I gave him, I had like a $5 bill or whatever. And he saw my wedding ring and he was like, I just want you to let you know, like, you should let whoever man is lucky enough to be married to you, that I know he's going through something, but it's going to be okay because you guys are going to win soon. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, but then the more I thought about it, I was like, well, everyone's going through something all the time. Like, it's the thing of saying something so vague that it could apply.
But Paige, when you said it, I was like, holy shit, Paige met a prophet.
I was on my way to a friend's house and I texted them. I was like, so I think I met a crack prophet. Like,
crack prophet looking for a dealer. You can play the leper girl and I can play the healer.
Anyway, so she's making vague assumptions where she's like, someone's going to die tonight. And I'm like, yeah, bitch, it's the apocalypse. Like, multiple people going to die tonight.
Yeah, that P word is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna murder it. Welcome to my grocery store.
You're going to eat that booty like groceries.
Welcome to the meat department.
Sausages on sale. Please buy it. Oh my God, please. Just please buy the sausage. Here's a coupon. Anyway, so people start to believe her because they don't realize that correlation is not causation. And so they think she's a prophet. Thomas Jane like passes out. And when he gets up, the guy who's been burned is like, please, if you can't help me, you gotta end it. This is so fucking painful. Like,
well, we got timeout because Thomas Jane like gets all tuckered out for no reason and wakes up and they're like, he's like, what happened? And she's like, after that whole big fight, you just came over here and got in the fetal position and went to sleep for a while.
I understand that though. He's had a big day.
He's all tuckered out.
Yeah, he reached his boiling point, needed a reset, but he wakes up to.
He's not a good dad.
You're only saying that because he murders his son. But I mean, he wakes up
and does constantly leave his kid with other people.
Every decision he makes in this film is not in the child's best interest.
That's fair.
And that's what your mom gets for marrying a painter.
A wildly successful painter who created the posters to some of the best movies of a generation. But
still a bad dad.
But I do love that they like throw that in his face where they're like, I know you're all Hollywood or whatever. And I was like, what? Like,
I know you're employed or whatever.
Yeah.
But man, that painter's strike is really hurting the directors and studios in Hollywood.
51 days on the painter picket line.
The murals, fabulous.
Their signs are all emojis.
But Thomas Jane wakes up to Miss Camry or whatever her name was.
Carmody.
Yeah, thank you, Camry. That Miss Toyota is preaching about some shit or whatever. And,
Yeah.
he's just like, is she still doing that? And they're like, yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's the worst, and now people are listening.
Yeah.
It's like living with a talk radio. I hate it.
It's like dating a podcaster.
Babe.
What are you talking about? I don't do a podcast. I just have a Zoom call for a long time, a couple of nights a week.
Yep. 2 nights a week. Just have a 3-hour chat with my best friends.
Yep.
Do you talk about deep personal things? No.
No, we talk about how we would wear crab armor and stab Godzilla in the head.
Yeah.
Dressed as a crab, pissing on Godzilla. Normal Tuesday.
For me, it was a Tuesday. For you, it was
Godzilla,
the day.
it was the most important day of his life.
But for Crab Gundam, it was Tuesday. Anyway, they kind of conference and they're like, so should we go get medication for the guy who's dying? And part of me is like, no, shoot him.
Yeah.
At best, you can reduce some of his pain until he dies from his wounds anyway.
That's what I would be doing. I'd be like, we have aspirin in the store. I'd be like, have as much of this as you want.
Yeah.
And
Although that's not a good way to go either, though.
I'm sure not. But
It's bad.
I definitely understand why his brother would be like, well, there's a pharmacy next door. I'm going.
Yeah.
If any of you want to come, I would appreciate it.
Right.
So like, I understood why this happened, but I definitely would not go.
Yeah, well, and allegedly the pharmacy next door has the high-powered topical analgesics that they use in a burn ward, allegedly.
That's what they say, and I think they actually do because we see him grab it, right? Like
They do,
the
yeah.
old lady, and it's explained, but I cannot remember why she knows they have this.
I don't
But
either.
It's explained,
Like, yeah.
but she knows not only that they have it, but where they keep it.
Where
so like
it
when
is,
she
yeah.
volunteers to go, I'm like, oh man, like because she's like 80.
Well, and this is going to sound terrible. If I'm 80 and this happens, yeah, I'm going to the fucking pharmacy, and I'm kind of hoping that Fog Crab picks me off along the way.
It's
Let's fucking
Day
go.
2. They'd be like, we need antibiotics. I'm like, we don't. We just need to let that guy die and all of us hunker down.
Well, but then you're with the cult, though.
I have the gun.
They do have that conversation, although that doesn't come up about how Ollie has the gun. But they do say, like, we can't stay here even if we don't go to the pharmacy. Like, we have to leave.
We have to figure something out, because if we don't, she'll kill us.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
His group, sort of the core group that then makes it to the car and leaves, they call it early on that this is going to end badly for everyone in the store because the cult.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would have got back from the thing. The guy would have been dead. I've been like, pack some food. We're leaving now. We're just
Yeah.
going to go to the building next door with as much food as we can and you just fucking hunker down.
But then you can't hunker down in the building next door. That's where the spiders are.
Yeah.
No, that's across the street.
No. That's next door. That's the pharmacy next door.
Well, I would leave anyway because I'd be like, there's a shit ton of spiders next door. We have to go across the street now.
There are a shit ton of spiders that can shoot acid out their butts. They're going to come through these walls eventually.
Yeah.
Those spiders have had so much Taco Bell that we have to get the fuck out of here.
Oh, Taco Bell. Sounds amazing.
I had Taco Bell for lunch today.
Nice.
Delish.
How was your one soft taco?
I had a beefy cheese burrito and a chicken quesadilla. That's what I had for lunch.
That's almost a regular amount of food.
I
I'm proud
didn't
of you.
finish either.
Oh, God damn it. Anyway, so they decide that they're going to go next door. And they go. Although she tries to stop them from going. And they literally say, they're like, she's Jim Jones crazy. We've got to go.
Yes.
And I do think it's funny that Amanda's like, you have no faith in humanity. And everyone else in the circle is like, yeah, no, we've met people. We didn't, yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you have faith in humanity?
Not during the apocalypse, I don't. Like,
I don't have faith with them on their best day.
oh, yeah, no. I have worked in retail. People can be the most selfish, hurtful garbage out there. Like, it is rough.
And this lady is a 5th grade teacher. She should already know that.
Well, yeah. Anyway, they go next door. And at first, it looks like it's just dark and abandoned, but they realize that the doors have been left open.
Yeah. But they do start going through like the shelves and like pulling like drugs, they know what they do because they're not pulling all the drugs. They're like, look for the name brand shit that you know
Sylvadine,
about. Yeah,
penicillin, oxy. They take some
oxycodone, that kind of stuff. Yeah,
so that they can sell it later to pay for a new Land Cruiser. I got you. But
they do find the burn ward medicine.
Yeah, the Sylvadine.
Silverdine ain't gonna do shit on a 3rd-degree burn on 80% of your body. I was like,
yeah,
look,
no, that guy is dead. He is done.
Yeah, unfortunately, he definitely is going to die anyway. But at this point, that's when they start to reveal that like there are bodies caked against these walls and like cosmic webs.
When you hear the rustling.
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
If I walked into this pharmacy, which is obviously a giant mutant spider's den,
Yeah.
I'd have been like, we're not going to do this. Let's just go.
Well, they don't notice it initially, which is
Who
so
wouldn't
hard to
notice
believe. I know. Yeah. No.
I am also a person that because of my specific fear of spiders is of them falling on me.
Yeah.
So I often look up whenever I walk into new places because of that specific fear. I would have noticed this almost immediately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but they don't, and they do get some medicines and then slowly notice what's going on around them, and then all hell breaks loose. And it is like bad. Like we lose 2 or 3 people very quickly here.
Yeah, well, and it's in part because one of them gets grabbed by the military policeman that we saw in the beginning of the movie, who is now webbed to the wall, xenomorph style.
Oof.
And he says, "I'm sorry, it was all our fault," before he literally explodes into spiders.
Yeah.
Just like so many spiders. And then there's spiders everywhere, spitting like acid web jizz, just like all over everybody. They lose Bobby, the brother of the burn guy.
Yeah, because they it burns his leg, and like the acidy sperm jizz that you called it or whatever, like burns his leg off or whatever, and he just dies, I guess, from that.
He dies on the floor,
Yeah.
either from shock or blood loss or whatever.
Well, and
but
they also like climb all over him and like bite him and
Yeah.
stuff. So like, yeah, I mean, he's dead.
he's super dead. They finally make their way out. They make it back to the store. They basically are like, look, okay, there's some shit out there. Everyone over there is dead. There's no people over there, but we do have medicine. And Thomas Jane just like passes out
Yeah.
for a while Carmody is yelling about scorpions again.
He's all tuckered out.
He's all tuckered out again. But he wakes up and is like, hey, how's the burn guy doing? They're like, oh, he died while you were napping because he was like so burned. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why we even did this. Like,
Yeah.
We killed those people for nothing.
yeah. We lost 2 to then lose another one. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
I mean, they do now have the medicine, which I do see as valuable, but because of what
Yes.
happens, they never use it.
Right.
So like, it is sort of pointless to have gone, unfortunately.
Yeah. Anyway, they decide that they need to leave because they're afraid of the cult. So they're going to gather groceries and leave at dawn.
Yeah.
But as they're kind of doing that, they pull the soldier aside and they're like, hey, we saw one of your guys in there who said it was your fault. Where are your 2 friends and what's going on?
Yeah.
And he's like, I think they went to the loading dock. They said some stuff. I don't know if they're actually going to go through with it. And of course, they get to the loading dock and they have hung themselves.
Yeah. They've taken their own life. Yeah.
They've taken their own lives, unfortunately. And at this point, he's like, I don't know. I worked there, but they said something about it. And unfortunately, the dumb dude who let Norm get tentacled earlier is overhearing it. And he's like, it's Project Arrowhead. Like, it's this thing that you were doing on the mountain. This is all your fault. And he drags the soldier out and is just like, it was the military's fault. They're the reason. God is punishing us. And the cult is in full force. And they immediately kill him because that's what mob mentality does.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so scary. Like, that's why people are the scariest part.
Yeah. This, even though it's not like creepy or buggy or creature-y, this is the scariest kill to me in the whole movie.
Oh, yeah.
Because we are just watching a group of people kill someone for literally just like doing his job. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. He didn't know. He didn't know what was happening.
He had no
Yeah.
idea. He wasn't a scientist who was like actively working on a project.
Yeah, he didn't know. This reminds me of, if any of you out there, and I know some of you are cult podcast listeners, so you may have, if any of you have listened to the Jonestown tapes, there is a woman who speaks up before shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
And she is shouted down like this and restrained. And you hear it on the tape. And it reminded me of that immediately.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens when shit like this gets out of hand. That's why the cult is the scariest part.
Yeah.
But they just fully stab him. Like
they stab him and then throw him outside and let the creatures sort of take him. He gets taken by like a raptor bird, right? Or something like that.
He gets taken by a fog crab.
That's what it is.
But
yeah.
it's so expiation is what they're chanting, which is basically blood atonement. So they put him outside where he leaves that bloody handprint and then he gets snatched by a fog crab.
Yeah, it's brutal.
So he's done. And then she just says, the beast will leave us alone tonight. Tomorrow we'll wait and see. And I'm just like, well, yeah, you just fed it. Like,
there's more than one.
Exactly.
There is more than one.
I was thinking like, man, just like, if I was Thomas Jane, I'd be like, please let them come back tonight. Like,
I know.
We
and they
need
don't,
to prove her wrong. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like, fuck. But yeah, you'd be like rooting for the bugs in that situation.
Absolutely. But so they lay down to sleep that night and his son is like, please don't let the monsters get me no matter what. And he just says, I promise. And I was like, Chekhov's promise.
But hey, listen, he keeps that promise.
By abandoning him over and over and over
Well, no,
again.
by shooting him, Mikey.
Yeah. Anyway, as they're laying on the floor, there's some Jack Link's product placement behind them, which I found really funny.
Delicious. I found very delicious. Yeah.
But Amanda wakes him up. And she's like, hey, it's dawn. We got to go. They go to check out stand number 2 where they had hidden food and it's gone. And the cult is awake and ready. And they're just like, oh, you were stealing food? It's time for more human sacrifices. And I was like, oh, geez. Like, she's not even pretending it's from the Bible now.
No.
It's day 2.
It is literally day 2. And she is yelling, get the boy. Let's kill the boy.
Yeah. This was a slumber party time period, and we've gone this far.
We essentially are at a church lock-in at this point.
Yeah.
And we are already going to murder? Like, that's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's only when the biblical bitch starts saying, like, kill them, that's when Ollie shoots her. He, like, literally puts it off as long as possible.
It's literally until they are coming towards them with knives.
Yeah.
That is when he finally shoots her. And he says, he's like, I killed her. I wouldn't have had to, but there was no other way.
There really was no other way. Like,
yeah.
And the guy who plays Ollie does an amazing job. He delivers those lines in like a very like mournful, sad way. Like he did not want to do
bad.
it.
Yeah.
But man, he shot her once through the milk and then once through the brain, and it was awesome. I was so happy for him.
Yeah, 1 in the heart and 2 in the computer. That's right. But the group that's going to go to the Land Rover runs outside, and originally there's 8 of them, and 3 of them very quickly die.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't have enough seats, so it's like convenient.
Well, he says there's 8 seats. That's why 8 of them leave the store.
There's not 8 seats.
He lied. He knew. He's like, there's only 5 seats, but I need 3 decoys. So
yeah.
7 maybe, but 5's the comfortable level that we want to do here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Ollie gets fog crabbed and drops the gun on the hood of the Land Cruiser. Then Ambrose, who I was like, oh, he had a name. He gets spidered and another guy trips and falls and he gets got.
Yeah.
They all, the 5 remaining, the old man and old woman, Amanda, the kid, and Thomas Jane make it to the Land Cruiser. He gets out to grab the gun from the windshield and then uses the windshield wipers to wipe the blood away. And they drive away, shining light on the people in the store.
Yeah.
And make it.
Yeah.
It was very dramatic.
Yeah, because like a raptor bat comes and tries to kill him while he's getting, or maybe it's just a bug.
It's just a
tries
bug.
to get him while he's getting the gun. It's very like high stakes. But at that point, I was like, oh, I guess they're just going to drive off into the mist and that's going to be the end of the movie. Because
I thought so too.
It's a Stephen King book that they made a movie out of.
That's basically the end of the book.
Oh, is
give
it?
Or take.
Oh, okay. I mean, that makes sense.
The end of the novella, he does go and find out that his wife is dead, and then they're trying to make their way to North Carolina, I believe.
Yeah, he does say let's drive south.
Yeah. So they drive off. They drive past the house. We do find out that his wife is spidered to death.
Yeah.
Convenient.
I mean, for Amanda, for sure.
Amanda. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're kind of driving to just see how far away they can get. And this is where we see like the giant, like Kong Island level giant tentacle sky spider. And I was just like, do you even want to live in a world with tentacle sky spider? Like, why? Like, no, I don't want to fight this fight.
No,
done.
me either. Like, I understand why they go out the way they go out.
No, man, that's the world I want to go to.
Oh, no.
You guys would let me fight any of these animals.
I want to
Nope.
see Mikey fight a cosmic roo.
Like a soup?
No, a kangaroo that's like a cosmic version.
Oh.
I think you could take it, Mikey.
If it's cosmic, can I use weapons?
I mean, sure, you can use whatever you want.
I'm down. Are we in the moist?
I'm
The
sorry,
moist?
what? The mist?
Are we in it?
Yeah, you're in it. So they run out of gas, and this is where we get like 6 minutes of just like staring.
Yeah.
Everyone's staring. He counts the bullets in the gun. Of course, it's one less than they need.
Yeah, they've got 4 and there's 5 of them.
Yep. And he says, I'll figure something out. And then we cut to outside the car. We hear 4 gunshots. And then he screams because obviously, but it's a very awkward scream.
God, it's so sad though. Like, this part of the movie is fucking bleak, man.
It's bleak. And he keeps firing into his own face, even though there's no bullets.
Yeah, because they only had 4 bullets. Yeah. So he had just enough for his son, his new wife, his pseudo mother, and pseudo dad.
Yep.
Like, that's like the family unit he just family annihilated. And he's like a broken man at this point.
And he gets out to try and be like, come get me, tentacle sky spider. But of course, it's the army and the mist is
Big
cleared.
government came to ruin his plan.
It's the real tentacle spider in our lives, the government.
The government. Anyway, at this point in my notes, I just have, fuck this movie. They're dead for, if they had waited 5 minutes, like.
I'm definitely waiting at least 3 days in a place before I try to run through a deadly monster land.
Listen, I might choose to go out the way they go out. Like, I
Sure,
get it.
sure.
But I'm not doing that until I'm like about to die of starvation or am being currently attacked and there's no way for me to escape.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and I feel like they sit there for like 5 minutes and I'm like, I would have given it an hour at least, you know, like.
I would have gave it more than an hour.
Yeah, they stuttered to a stop, and then Thomas Jane's like, I guess I gotta kill everybody.
Yeah. And he just screams. He's just like on his knees, like, Padme, no! Just like.
Well, because the army is like marching by towards the mist, right?
And they're like, did you just kill those 4 people? It's been 36 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, well, there's a whole cult going on in a grocery store up the street. But there's no way he would not go to jail forever if he doesn't force them to kill him.
He wouldn't go.
He wouldn't go to jail. It's anything you do during the apocalypse doesn't count.
Yeah.
You hear that, Jake? There's a chance for us in the apocalypse, Jake. That's what I'm saying.
He could carry you to safety.
You know what? That's a joke that is funny and factual, and I'm here for it.
But I also think that it's literally only minutes before he takes a run at one of those soldiers and gets capped.
Yeah.
Or just takes their gun.
Yeah, or just takes their gun, whatever it is. Yeah.
I absolutely could not do what he does in the car. Like,
Burn guy in a second. I wouldn't have any problems with burn guy, but like the car, I would have waited a bit. Yeah.
I would have waited until like we're starving and like the people are dying in the car and it's like I'm in a lot of pain.
Well, that's like 30 days.
It is still Sunday in this whole weekend experience.
Yeah.
And not at night. It's Sunday afternoon.
yeah.
Sunday afternoon.
This isn't even a long weekend.
No, it's just a regular one. But then it says directed by Frank Darabont, and I was like, oh, that explains
That makes
everything.
sense.
And that's the movie.
So having seen the movie, having talked about the movie, what do you guys think about The Mist?
I like the ending, but I don't love the rest of it.
The cult aspect I do find scary. That is a particular fear of mine. But overall, the pacing really got to me after a while.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, this could be 90 minutes.
And should be.
And should be.
Yeah.
You know, and so that kind of got to me. And I hate the ending.
I don't like nihilistic endings either. I do think this ending is like, oh, wow, you guys went for it. Kind of cool.
Right,
like,
yeah.
I respect people who make big decisions like that because it's not what happened in the book.
I don't like a nihilistic ending either. And Todd, you and I have had problems with movies that are too nihilistic.
Yeah.
But this one swings so much for the fences that I'm just like, I got to give it to you.
Yeah.
I mean, here's what I will say. I think it's a realistic ending, which is brutal because I could absolutely see that happening if this happened in real life. 100%. 100%.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't super love the movie because it is so sad.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything from that first episode. I did not go back and listen to it. But I don't know where I rated it on the scary scale. I'm sure I'll rate it lower today, but I still found it somewhat scary today, though. There are some jumpy moments in this movie, although it doesn't look great, so I don't think it holds up all that well.
Yeah.
But Paige, do you have any fun facts for us?
I do.
Well, hit us with your fun facts.
Misty,
Fun facts.
So Stephen King does say that this is one of the few adaptations of his work that genuinely frightened him. And Frank Darabont was very happy to hear that.
I'm sure, man. That's quite a compliment from
Yeah.
the guy who, wrote
it.
the
Yeah,
story
absolutely.
you adapted. Yeah.
Yeah. During one of the action scenes, a man runs into a wire rotating bookshelf in the grocery store. And if you look carefully, you can see that all of the books on the shelf are Stephen King novels.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Now, this is one of 3 of Stephen King's works that Frank Darabont has adapted. The first 2 being Shawshank Redemption and Green Mile. So, of course he gave him The Mist. Why not?
Yeah.
Now, there is some debate about the ending. Now, Stephen King gave his blessing, but as Frank Darabont was shopping the movie, Dimension, who ends up making the movie, did so on a shoestring budget compared to what he was originally offered. He had to forfeit his director's fee to make it the way he wanted, but that's because he insisted on no one changing the ending of the script. So he was actually offered 2 to 3 times as much to make this movie on the condition that he changed the ending or at least have it match the book, and he refused. So
Fuck, I bet the effects would have looked way better if they hadn't done this ending.
yeah. Well, here's the thing. It is still 2007, so there's a limit to how good they can look.
Well, I mean, they could have done way more practical, is what I'm saying, with
more
a much bigger
expensive.
budget.
I do think the best looking one is the tentacle sky spider because it's far away and through the mist.
Yeah.
And that is truly haunting and terrifying. And I feel like if we had seen more stuff like that, I would have been into that. But that's not what we get. And I do know that Frank Darabont loves practical effects. They're all over The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So it could have been awesome, but oh well. Now, Stephen King got the idea for the book after going to a grocery store and noticing that the front window was made of just plate glass. And he wondered what would happen if giant insects flew into it. Now, this is a thing with older stores and older buildings. Most modern buildings that are built with glass fronts have safety glass. And I only know that because one time a car ran through the front of the store where I worked. I was not there that day. I was off.
I was off driving a car through a storefront.
Yeah, through a store window. But a lot of them are safety glass now to hopefully not kill people.
Yeah.
So after this film, Frank Darabont wanted Thomas Jane to play Rick Grimes on The Walking Dead, but it didn't work out scheduling wise.
That doesn't surprise me. Thomas Jane was very busy around this time.
Yeah. Frank Darabont had actually wanted to do this movie for 20 years.
Wow.
With his planned ending. That's why he was so intent about not changing it. He had it envisioned that way, and that's how he wanted to do it.
I mean, people mention that scene more than they mention the movie. That scene is what makes this so memorable.
Mm-hmm.
For better or for worse. Some people hate it, some people love it, but it's what makes it memorable.
So in college, I've seen this movie a lot.
Sure.
Because we bought the DVD and we would just make people watch the movie without telling them the ending and watch them react.
Yeah.
We used to do that with Cabin Fever. That was our force people to watch movie.
It's fun.
So in the pharmacy, when Thomas Jane grabs a comic book, originally they wanted it to be a copy of Punisher War Journal.
Oh.
But by then, Thomas Jane had actually kind of had a falling out with the people who had produced The Punisher in 2004.
Yeah.
And so instead, he grabs an issue of Hellboy as a shout out to his friend Ron Perlman.
Yeah. Because he only played Punisher in that first one, right?
Yeah, that's it. Within the movie, My Life for You is a line spoken by Mrs. Carmody in the film, and it's actually a recurring line in multiple Stephen King texts, often spoken by villainous characters. In many cases, to Randall Flagg, aka Walter O'Dim, aka Martin Broadcloak, etc., who is the many identities of the superpowered master evil in several Stephen King stories.
Okay.
Despite being set in Maine, as all Stephen King films are, this was actually shot in Louisiana and Texas, but Stephen King could not distinguish it from Maine when watching the film. And Frank Darabont credits their set design with that. He said that he was actually really proud that he couldn't tell that it wasn't Maine.
They credit the mist.
Yeah, Mikey, you can't really see much through the mist, so it's not super hard to fake, I'd imagine.
True. This film was shot on a 37-day shoot, which is incredibly short schedule.
Yeah, that's fast.
Now, they were only able to do that because of a very, very specific hiring choice. So Frank Darabont hired the entire camera crew from The Shield while they were on hiatus between seasons.
Nice. Okay.
And allowed them to shoot in A and B teams. So multiple scenes were being shot at a time, the way that television is often shot as opposed to movies. And that cut the production time almost in half.
Nice.
He did originally want it in black and white, which is why I asked earlier today. I did find out why there's a black and white. That's what he wanted, and it is only on the DVD Blu-ray release, although I believe sometimes you can find it streamable through potentially illegal means. But yeah, black and white. Black and white would be interesting. I don't know that it would add much to it for me.
I bet the effects wouldn't look as bad.
That's probably true, actually. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, that's pure speculation.
Yeah.
That's the reason he wanted a black and white cut.
That honestly, that makes a ton of sense. Maybe after the budget cuts, he was like black and white and that'll hide it.
I think he wanted it to be like an older, like
I think so, like a 50s.
Yeah, that also makes as much, if not more sense, you know?
Yeah. So Norm, pre-death, is wearing a t-shirt from WKIT Radio in Bangor, Maine. This is actually one of 3 radio stations owned by Stephen King.
What?
And the artwork on the shirt is by an artist named Glenn Chadbourne, who does most of the art for Stephen King's novels as well.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. To have the bugs impacting and cracking the windows, they threw baseballs at the windows to crack them and then superimposed the bugs over the baseballs.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Thomas Jane was present through the entire editing process because he was learning how to direct and edit for his own directorial debut, a movie called Dark Country. But so he wanted to learn how to edit. So he spent the entire editing cycle with them, which is interesting as well.
That's fucking dope. I would love to do shit like that.
Yeah. To get an authentic seeming earthquake reaction, they played a sound via large bass speakers without warning anyone in advance. So everyone jumped and freaked out and they got it on camera and used it.
That's very cool.
So that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
I'll make this the last one.
Okay.
There's a ton of fun facts about this too. If you want to dig deeper, there are plenty out there, but I thought this was really interesting. So the scene where the wasps break through the glass, originally, in addition to the giant like raptor bats, included a giant centipede crawling through the hole in the glass as well.
Okay.
But it was cut from the script for timing issues and they didn't think they'd be able to do it well in CGI.
Well, they wouldn't have been able to do it well in CGI.
Yeah, true.
They have plenty of CGI in this movie to prove that. But Paige, thank you so much for those fun facts. Let's talk a little bit about box office. So what do you think the production budget was for The Mist in 2007 when it came out?
I have to recuse myself.
Okay, so Mikey, you can win both showcases.
$15 million.
That's not a bad guess, Mikey. It was $13 million. And if you adjust that for inflation to today, that would be just over $19 million. Now, this movie came out on November 23rd, 2007. It was 9th the weekend it came out. It was beat by Enchanted, was number 1 that week. Number 2 was This Christmas. Number 3 was Beowulf. Number 4 was Hitman. And number 5 was a movie where I think Jerry Seinfeld as a bee has sex with a human woman. And that movie is the Bee Movie. And then there were 4 other movies. And then The Mist was in 9th this week. What do you think The Mist brought in its opening weekend?
I'm going to say opening weekend, it's in 9th place.
Yeah.
$2 million.
Okay.
I'm going to say 7.
Mikey, you are closer. It's $8.9 million. But Paige, with its place being 9th, I get why you thought it was way lower than it was.
Yeah, 7 is surprising.
Yeah, check this. This week, the top 12 movies made over $3 million.
That's amazing.
That's crazy. So, I mean, obviously the number one movie made $34 million. So like other movies made way more, but all of the top 12 movies made over $3 million. That's nuts. Anyway, so it didn't do great in its opening weekend. It actually goes up a rank. It goes from 9th to 8th in its second week. It doesn't make as much money though, but it was in the theaters for a total of 17 weeks. So what do you think it makes domestically at the box office?
I'm going to say that it tops out around 25.
Okay.
I'm going to say 28.
Paige, $25.5 million
Yes.
in its domestic box office. So obviously, perfect guess. It also made another 31.5 internationally for a total of $57.1 million. And again, if you adjust for inflation on that number, it jumps to $83.8 million today. So on a $13 million budget in 2007, they made $57 million in 2007. So like it made plenty of money. I also do have the home market performance in like domestic DVD and Blu-ray sales, and it made $31 million in DVD and Blu-ray sales. So it made a lot of money. Yeah.
That is wild.
I mean, it wasn't like a Shawshank Redemption Green Mile hit.
Yeah, of course
But
not.
it was a hard horror hit.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway, that's your box office. So, Mikey, do you want to hit him with that scary scale?
Yeah, Scary Scale listeners, a scale of 1 to 10 of how scary we found the film when we watched it today. Our 1 example is Ghostbusters, and our 10 example is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Paige.
I'm going to give it a 2 for the cult stuff, but that's about where I'm at.
Todd.
I'm going to give it a 4 because there were some jumpy moments for me, and the cult stuff is legitimately creepy.
I'm going to give it a 2 because of the peoples as well. And I don't like spiders.
Yeah.
There you go.
And that's our Scary Scale.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So this week, the listeners made us watch The Mist. Next week is a new month, right? Which means it's a new theme.
Okay.
Mikey, do you want to explain since this is your doing?
I have masterminded a thing I've wanted to do, mainly because it's really funny. Southern Slayers.
Yes.
Bayou Bandits.
Southern Slayers, Bayou Bandits. I love it.
We're going to do Deliverance first right off the bat.
So your homework for next week is to watch Deliverance. I've never seen this, obviously.
Oh, well, it might make you squeal like a pig.
I do know about that because that's like in pop culture. But yeah. So Mikey, do you have a review for us to read?
No.
Well, while you're looking one up, let me tell them how they can have their review read on the podcast. And that's to leave us a 5-star text review, and we'll have Mikey read it for you. So, Mikey, whose review are you going to read this week?
I'm going to do Gigglebox DJ.
What? Well, what does Gigglebox DJ have to say?
Scary fun.
Oh, okay. I'll take it.
I really enjoy this podcast, and if you read this review, please do it in the Foghorn Leghorn voice. Okay.
I'm here for this. Thank you, Gigglebox DJ.
I do declare Todd's exuberance, Mikey's zingers, and Paige's humor and insight have contributed to make this my favorite. I have gotten my husband to listen, and it always makes him laugh. We are horror fans, but we don't really have anyone to share it with.
Aw.
So we feel like you are our horror friends. Our horror friends?
Yeah. Like the friends you talk with horror about.
With a WH or HO? I don't bring my horror friends around decent folk. Anyway.
Mikey's really getting into the Foghorn Leghorn character. That's the level of commitment he goes into with these reviews. He inhabits the character themselves.
And that's 5 stars. That's a 5-star review.
Well, thank you so much, Gigglebox DJ, for that amazing 5-star review. And if you want to have Mikey get through your 5-star review, leave us a 5-star review. So, guys, if you like this show but want to hear this power throuple on another movie review show about romance and romantic comedies, check out Romancing the Pod, where Mikey, Paige, and I break down and make fun of romantic movies. It's a lot of fun, guys. Check it out. If you want to follow us on social, please do. We are at Horror Virgin or online at horrorvirgin.com. If you want to follow us all individually, you can do that as well. Paige is at Paige Wesley on Twitter or Rampage Wesley everywhere else, including TikTok. TikTok. Mikey is at mrandolph24, and I am at Todd J. Awesome. If you like the show so much and you want to help financially support it, please do by going to patreon.com/horrorvirgin, where you can get a lot of great levels and a lot of great stuff like bonus episodes, director's cut episodes where they're a little bit longer and you get them actually a day earlier than the regular feed drop. We do a lot of great things like listener requests and stuff like that. So guys, check out the Patreon and help support the show.
If you want to financially support me, but not Todd, just look me up on Venmo.
If you can't financially support the show, that's understandable. That's fine. But if you want to hang out with us on the daily, join the Facebook group at facebook.com/group/horrorvirgin. We also link it like once a week. So just find it there and join the awesome Facebook group. Literally, we're in there talking every day. It's awesome. And guys, we got a P.O. box. So if you want to send us some love letters or whatever you might send to a P.O. box, it's actually not a P.O. box. It's like a regular street address. It's pretty awesome. It's 6688 Nolensville Road, number 108-34, Brentwood, Tennessee 37027. So send us some stuff.
Yeah.
And if you want to check out our Twitch stream, we're at twitch.tv/Todd Awesome, where we will be playing horror video games. So if you have always wondered what it would be like to watch me get scared, you can now do that on Twitch while I play these horror games. It's twitch.tv/Todd Awesome, guys. Check it out. It's a lot of fun for you. Not a lot of fun for me. This episode was brought to you by Tia, and Tia's teenager has been like driving her crazy. So how has Tia's teenager been driving her crazy this week?
She keeps starting cults in the grocery store.
I need you to believe it's not butter.
Honestly, that's a cult I'd fall for. Tia, lock it up with your teenager starting cults. But this episode also brought to you by Jonathan. And Jonathan wants me to make you guys watch some videos. So I'm going to steal your screens right now and do just that with my... Boom, here we go.
Oh, I've seen a tarantula hawk before.
Whoa, what is that? That's a big-ass fly. I do sort of like the humorous, educational take on this video.
Yes.
That thing is huge, though.
Yeah.
Good Lord. It is like taking on a tarantula.
Yeah. It kills tarantulas.
I've done that before, you know what I'm saying?
Like this is actually like a really interesting video about this fucking
I like his
scary ass tarantula
the way
hawk.
he does stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Jonathan, thank you so much for this video and the support. We now return you for another episode of the in studio now, not live from the beach, version of
The
Patreonicals. Do you remember what you submitted for the Patreonicals last week from the beach? I am assuming while you were drunk.
I was not.
My favorite part of that is you really getting into it at the beginning of that. You're like, oh, all right, let me close the balcony door.
I had a moment to myself. I was like, let's
I found a dead crab over.
Okay. They're in fairy tale world now.
Yes, they are.
Uh-oh, it's a big dragon.
Hell yeah. I love it.
Isaac gets out he's in Black Knight armor, so he's got a
sword? A mace?
No, the other one. No, the long.
An axe.
Lance.
Oh, okay.
And then he's like, let's kill it. And then Kate holds the dragon still with her mind powers.
Oh, dude, I bet that really freaked the dragon out, right?
Well, if they move, it can see you, but if you don't move, then.
But if you're making it not move, can it see you?
Yeah, it can still, its eyes can move. And, Prince Charming, Wes, is like, I'm only good looking. Y'all have to kill this thing. And so...
he's like, I'm only good looking, so realistically, this is on you all.
Karun and Natasha, the blue aliens, are in the field behind them, and there's singing fireflies singing a love song, so they're just banging it out in a very romantic fairy tale.
That is
world.
what you would do if you were hanging out around fireflies that were like, I don't see nothing wrong with a little firefly.
But no, they're like, fuck the girl.
Oh, wow, la 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 la, do her now. Let's put it in her mouth. Sorry.
I can show you how we're gonna bone the girl.
Mikey gets so frustrated when we sing, but loves it when he gets in on it.
Mm-hmm,
No,
mm-hmm.
I'd give that up. I would trade that off into the mist. Driscoll flies up with his Iron Man suit and starts shooting the dragon.
Man, in a fairy tale, that would be like the most insane thing. Like everyone's like a magician or just like a handsome dude, and then Iron Man comes in.
Is he bard class or elf class?
Exactly.
Allie, who now has control of her mermaidness powers, goes like runs really fast and drop kicks, turns into a fin and hits it, which is not really effective against a dragon, but like she's happy that she can do it.
It's a nice little flex though. Like, look what I can do.
Yeah. Captain Brooder throws his pirate sword and impales into the dragon. Bo Easy, the Florida man, gets out marshmallows and a.
I thought you were gonna say mushrooms. And I was like, on brand for Florida man.
Yeah.
He did get out some mushrooms, but they were actually sentient, so they ran away.
Oh no!
Because they're in a fairy tale world.
Oh, that's right.
Jeremy with laser eyes just shoots him with his laser eyes. Sorry, Jeremy. And then
I mean, but that would be effective. But really, we're not going to be able to kill this dragon until he pulls away his like scales and shows his dragon heart.
All right, that movie was terrible. Lauren the cave person hits the dragon with their club. Mr. Rage Bomb shoots a bunch of fireworks in its eyes to like blind it. Garotica slices his toe off with the axe.
Wait, another toe? Did he just lose another toe?
No, the dragon lost the toe.
Oh, okay. So, okay. I thought it was our toeless wonder.
No. That's Jeremy with his toe is not at play right now.
Okay.
He's got a bionic toe currently.
God, which honestly just makes him make more money on Wiki Feet. Show me those bionic toe pics.
Sunzi, who has turned into a tin man / robotic creature, blows its steam whistle and is kind of confused on like what to do as a tin man.
I love it. He just blows his whistle. That's it. He's like warning. He's like giving people a warning. Yeah. He's out here saving lives, Mikey. That's what he's doing.
Andrew, the golden retriever, the really loyal dog now, is just really wagging its tail and barking and is really happy that everybody's doing good. And then Jennifer, the PH, puts a force field over the dragon's mouth so it can't breathe fire on them.
Oh, that's a good use. I like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What they should do is put a force field up in the sky while it's flying and just have it fly into it to death.
They don't think that fast.
Well, this is why ADHD can also be a superpower.
River Moon, the witch, casts a spell and it backfires and the dragon starts talking and was like, hey, there's people behind you. Why are you trying to kill me? I was just flying here. Y'all are kind of assholes.
He was like, I was on my way to Dragonton. This is a fairy tale land. I am allowed to exist. Thank you so much.
Anthony turns around and Aaron and Livy are with Alex the magician, who looks like an evil wizard now.
Nice. Like Chris Angel.
Yes. And then they still look like Mun people, and that's really odd in a fairy tale universe because, like, picture just fairy tale shit going all the way on the background.
We don't have the budget to show you here, but it's, I've seen the mock-ups. It's real beautiful.
And Anthony's like, why are you guys here? Don't you guys want to kill us or whatever? And then Vance, the serial killer, he grows his knives out of his hands to, like, murder people, and he's like, yeah, we do. And it's like, we got to get along. And that's how the episode ends.
All right. Well, I guess we'll have to wait one more week to find out what happens on another episode of The Patreonicals.
That's going to be it for us, you guys. I'm Paige.
I'm Mikey.
And I'm your horror virgin, Todd.
Keep it oogie spooky.
Yeah.
Have a great week.
Bye. I'm learning that, like, Stephen King is real sad. Like, all of his movies are very sad.
They are often sad, yes.